another episode of You'll Only Listen Twice, our Bond podcast where we're taking a look at all the Bond movies, both official and unofficial. I'm Jake.
I'm Troy.
And I owe an apology to Troy because I've been saying this whole time that Octopussy was not good because that's how I remembered it. And, well, I was right in a sense. It's not good. It's phenomenal.
Yes!
Oh my
the
God.
Octopussy army is back, baby.
Troy, I will be on your team so long as you don't invoke Joseph Campbell, so long as you don't say that anything about pathos, okay? But we're on the same team for now.
What about Bathos?
When he's a clown, it's a deconstruction, Jan.
No, but it is actually because
Oh my
James
God,
Bond.
no, Troy, stop it.
God damn it. Okay, the team is already broken up and it hasn't even been a minute
This
yet.
is factionalism. We need to stay strong.
We need to stay strong.
That's
We have
right.
a united leftist front.
We need to build a coalition government. I'm Producer Paul, everybody.
What's up, Producer Paul?
Guys, Epic Rap Battles of History has made a Karl Marx epic rap battle. If this is not the time for us to come together.
Who does he battle against?
He battles against Henry Ford.
What?
Are they still doing those epic rap battles?
Yeah, they do like one every 4 months.
I can't believe that's still going.
I can't imagine what rap battle they'd be doing
I mean,
now.
wouldn't it make sense if he rap battled like Hitler? Like, what?
No, they've done Hitler 3 times. They've retired Hitler.
That was The Kingsman, Jan, a movie that has just come out.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it'd be something creative like Karl Marx versus Groucho Marx or something.
That would be cool.
No, they don't do that anymore. Now they do praxis because they're YouTubers.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
They do theory.
Is the Epic Rap Battles of History bread tube now?
It's the best bread tube.
Are we
it's
bread
still
tube
funny.
after our Live and Let Die episode? Does that count?
I think we are bread
Are
tube now,
we
actually.
dirtbag?
Yeah.
I don't know if we even qualify.
I don't know. You guys really want it to
cares?
be the town of...
We're not into labels, okay?
We are bread tube unless the Daily Wire wants to buy our show, in which case you're very welcome to do so.
Ooh, we could get Patrick Warburton.
I know, yeah.
Well, Jake, tell us about Octopussy.
It's an all-time high.
It is an all-time high.
Yeah, listeners at home, as they're hinting at, I quite like Octopussy.
Yeah, so Jan's not the only one who is been Octopussy pilled.
Yeah!
I have to say, especially that last half hour.
It's
Yes!
better.
It's in the canon of movies where the last half hour really saves the rest of the movie, where it's just like, holy shit, is this like amazing?
I mean, I
Yes.
enjoy all of it, but that last half hour in particular is like, oh, chef's kiss.
It has so many setups, so many payoffs. It just is such a satisfying adventure.
This is like the 15th of these fucking movies, and it's the first one where I can actually call James Bond remotely heroic.
Exactly. This is the swashbuckling James Bond.
It's
like-
well, it's a movie that, well, especially in that last half hour, it goes from Hitchcockian thriller to MGM musical in
Yes!
the span of like 10 minutes. You're just like,
You go from the death of a hero to escape to defusing the bomb in the circus.
Clown face.
You know, they may have gone too far in a few places, but I feel like it works here.
It is,
Yeah.
it paved the way for future baller cinema like Aquaman and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And Aquaman 3, Aquaman 2 made too much money. We're going to have to make
Troy,
another one.
Aquaman 2 is never going to come out. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I mean, Aquaman 3, obviously, we know about, but not Aquaman
In the year
2.
2020, they've been in production on Aquaman 2 for at least 3 years.
We're in 2021, Jake, remember?
Yeah,
Oh, right. No,
we already did the
2021.
Christmas
Yeah, at
episode.
least 3 years.
That was the Lazenby era.
We're in the
Right.
Moore era.
We're in the
tail
Moore
end of
era.
the Moore era.
We're in Roger Moore's final James Bond movie. If they made another one after this, that would be a horrible mistake.
Catastrophic. Yeah, this would have been such a mic drop, but like, it's weird. Like, now that we've been revisiting these movies, I always thought of the Roger Moore movies, as most people do, as like the bad ones. But I'm like, nah, not really. Like, it's hit or miss. When it's miss, it's a miss, like a big one. But when it's a hit, it's a fucking hit, man. And it's like very half and half.
No, that's how I feel. It's like half great, half the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. But you know, without Roger Moore, I don't think James Bond would have survived as like a franchise. Like, this is the era when the franchise becomes like sustainable.
No, it's
He's tenacious. That wrinkled old man is tenacious.
Yeah. You don't think that any other person could have sustained it?
Pierce Brosnan.
No.
I think a few other people could have sustained it.
Not an 85-year-old man.
Yeah.
Didn't they buy James Brolin? Oh, I was talking about this with Paul. I think Roger Moore in this movie is 1 year younger than David Niven in Casino Royale.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And it sure looks like it.
Yep.
Was it just me, or did he look older in the last one for some reason?
Oh yeah, I think Roger Moore got facelifts. Allegedly. Well, he's dead.
Or just because the movie is better, like he seems more energized.
No, I still think he looks old.
Well, he's made up as a clown, Jan.
Well, yeah, he's wearing more makeup, but also they put him next to Maud Adams, who looks older than she did the last time, and they put him next to Louis Jourdan, whose face is kind of like Roger Moore's in that it's kind of youthful but kind of melting at the same time.
Maud Adams got that surgery that makes you look like a cat.
Oh yeah, she got the buccal fat removed. Allegedly. Yeah. She's still alive. Allegedly.
Allegedly. We would never imply that, but she did.
Allegedly.
But she does have very sharp cheekbones in this.
Yes, in this one she has that sharp cheek. She's going to build an atom bomb that's going to... Wait, actually, yes.
What?
A Maud Atom bomb.
Is there anything to say behind the scenes before we get to the movie proper?
They pretty much replaced Roger Moore. Like, they got someone a hotel room, right, Jake?
Oh, it was going to be James Brolin, no?
Well, they didn't get anyone a hotel room. Okay, so, like For Your Eyes Only, basically the past couple times Roger Moore has been Bond, he was on the brink of getting replaced because he only had a 3-picture deal. So, after Spy Who Loved Me, that was it. And each movie after that was negotiated. Like, each one's like, okay, fine, I'll do another one. Octopussy, they wanted to do a new Bond. Like we said, I think we said in the last time that Michael Billington was looked at. He was looked at again in Octopussy. James Brolin tested with Maud Adams because they used Maud Adams as, they brought her in to act with the prospective James Bonds in the love scenes and stuff.
Oh, that's what they're calling it.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Maud Adams. I know you're listening.
So they tested James Brolin, and he was like this close to getting it. They really wanted to get a new person, but then, alas, they were intercepted by our old friend, Kevin McClory.
Oh my god!
So Kevin McClory finally gets the okay and the funding to make his rival James Bond movie, a remake of the 1965 film Thunderball. And he gets Sean Connery, and they get a director, Irving Kershner, and it is funded through Jack Schwartzman's production company, Thalia Film. And that is
Have
a
we
go.
ever mentioned that movie in this podcast?
I don't think so.
Never say...
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. We've never said never say never again on the podcast.
Yes, so...
and we'll never talk about it again, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll never talk about it.
Yeah, so Broccoli freaks out, goes like, oh no, Sean Connery is going to be in a rival James Bond movie, and it's coming out the same year Octopussy is. So they beg Roger Moore at the 11th hour to come back, and I think he got like $5 million. So at this point, if only Broccoli and Saltzman like gave the same salary to Connery in the 60s, Connery might have still been James Bond. Now they're like pouring trucks of money over Roger Moore.
Right, they want somebody younger, but they know that Brolin won't stand a chance against Never Say Never Again.
Right.
And it's I am assuming Roger Moore used this money to help with his tax situation.
That or the children.
I'm sure.
That or the children.
It's for the children.
I would say this movie's unique in that instead of Roger Moore abusing children as James Bond, children abuse him. They make fun of him. They laugh at him.
It's the children's revenge.
When he gets ditched.
The children's crusade against Roger Moore.
It was honestly a blessing in disguise that we get Roger Moore and not James Brolin, because can you imagine a non-British man playing James Bond, even though it's happened like twice?
Yeah,
yeah, I remember.
Well, Sean Connery is Scottish. George Lazenby's Australian. Hey.
Hey, what about Barry Nelson?
Oh, yeah, Barry Nelson.
Who's that?
Well, Jan, you remember in our first episode.
All right, I was in the
you were
first
there.
episode. Yeah, I forgot.
When he was Jimmy Bond.
God sends Jimmy Bond.
Yeah, you saw Casino Royale 1954.
Yeah. That guy. The Shining. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, in the same time, when they were thinking of casting a new James Bond, they were very close to casting Faye Dunaway as Octopussy.
Yeah.
Damn.
But then once they got Roger Moore back, and Roger Moore was so fucking expensive, they're like, whoops, we can't afford Faye Dunaway anymore. Maud Adams, come in. Even though you were already a Bond girl.
Yeah. They also looked at Sybil Danning. They looked at Barbara Carrera, who turned the role down to go be in another movie. Never say, wait, what? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
McClory strikes again.
I was looking at the Wikipedia for like random facts, and I was like, what the fuck? I was looking at the Wikipedia for Leo. Like Adam Sandler.
Why does James Bond look like an elderly lizard?
What?
I mean, he is an elderly lizard, but like,
Jan, wait, have all your views on James Bond been plagiarized from the Wikipedia page for Leo?
Oh yeah, that was like, come at me, H-bomber guy. I fucking dare you.
This is shocking, guys. All our views on James Bond movies are completely our own. We would never just look at Wikipedia and TV tropes and then just go, hey,
Here's my
remember
hot
this
take
fun
for you,
fact?
H-bomber guy. Intellectual property is good and based and okay, unless you steal my shit, in which case I will sue you. Go on, Jake.
anyway,
Roasted. Now you can subscribe to our Patreon and our GoFundMe and
we do hard research work in this podcast where we just sit on our asses for 2 hours and talk about James Bond.
and Jake brings out his big black book.
yes. So,
But no, yeah, and apparently they also did consider trying to get Indian actresses, but apparently they like ran out of people, and then they're like, "Hey, Maud, you're right here."
you were screen testing with James Brolin. Why don't you be Octopussy? And she's like, cool. And so we got Maud Adams as Octopussy.
Is this the most infamous title for a Bond movie?
Yeah.
Oh
and I
my
think
God,
that's
it is
its
so
biggest
funny.
issue.
Like, so what's her fucking name? The blonde lady.
Which
Yes.
The blonde lady.
Yeah, I know which one.
Magda. I have to
Monroe.
look up her name because I don't remember her name. Magda, played by Christina
Catherine
Wayborn.
Wayborn.
Yeah, so Catherine Wayborn was being interviewed. I was watching the Inside Octopussy documentary, and they're talking to everybody about.
That's a great name for a documentary.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic.
Inside Octopussy. Speaking of which, whenever someone would ask, she would tell people, "Oh, I'm in the new Bond movie," and they're like, "Oh, what is it called?" They haven't named it yet. And Maud Adams was apparently very offended by the title Octopussy, going like, "Are you really gonna call it that? That's my character name is Octopussy?"
The best part is that she says, like, my dad named me that.
My father became a leading authority on octopi. He loved them. His pet name for me was Octopussy.
And you're like, that's weird.
Well, it's funny because in the original screenplay, so for listeners at home, Octopussy is a story
By
it's
Ian
a James
Fleming.
Bond short story.
One of the
where-
best Ian Fleming short stories.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of the best James Bond stories where
And
he
it's kind of
convinced.
included in the movie. It's in like backstory.
It's the backstory to Octopussy.
But originally, they weren't going to. They brought on a new screenwriter, George MacDonald Fraser, who wrote the Flashman novels. And originally, he was going to have her name be Octopussy because her full name was going to be October Debussy. And she was going to shorten it.
Debussy.
Because October was going to be when she was born, and Debussy was what would have been playing when she was conceived.
Hell yeah.
This is the second time we've mentioned Debussy on this podcast.
Yes, because as we all know from Casino Royale.
It is now that time of day I have set apart for Debussy.
October Debussy. This is my associate, lick my dick.
And this is my associate, Magda. She doesn't have... Magda and Midge are
She's
the
just
two other
Magda.
women.
Magda.
Magda and Midge.
Yeah, I think that's what turns a lot of people off from this movie. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Octopussy. That the James Bond movies have. This is a new low, and it's like, no, this is actually a competent one.
This is, and Octopussy is, like, a name like Octopussy isn't strange to the Bond series.
No,
Actually,
it's not.
in my Big Black Bond book, it mentioned a statistic where they interviewed people going like, would you see a movie called Octopussy? And 60% of the people or something said, absolutely not. But then they said, would you watch a James Bond movie called Octopussy? And 98% of them said yes. So
Well, of
James
course.
Bond has that power. It's in the brand where you can call a movie Octopussy and get away with it.
You could call the movie just like a slur, and people would flock to it.
The rock solid franchise.
I was going to say, is Spectre the only one-word James Bond movie title after Octopussy?
Skyfall.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Skyfall.
that's right, Skyfall. That was a movie.
GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah, you're right,
Yeah, there's a
GoldenEye.
bunch.
Wait, what's James Bond?
Have you ever seen these movies?
No, I haven't. How do movie work?
No, we're not sponsored by movie yet, Troy.
But please, if you want to,
Yeah.
we're here.
Please.
We'll take your
Call
money.
us.
This episode is sponsored by Stamps.com. What?
This one is sponsored by Honey.
This movie's sponsored by Squarespace. This
Do you want
podcast is sponsored by
even
Squarespace.
more annoying ads? Subscribe to Honey.
Subscribe to us, and then you'll get like 3 ad breaks where we push ExpressVPN on your ass.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Whenever I watch a James Bond movie that's not streaming, I use NordVPN to steal.
So I could
films.
stream it when it's playing on Netflix India.
Is it
can
legal?
watch
Is it not?
Octopussy.
Who cares? Just give us your money.
It's plagiarism, Jan.
I write down all the dialogue from Octopussy, which no one remembers because no one has seen this movie because they all think it's bad. And then I pass it off as my own original screenplay.
Man, the Daily Wire really has changed us, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. I don't know why we took their money. Did you guys hear that now they're going to make us voice actors? Like how they made Megyn Kelly a voice actor?
They made Candace Owens a voice
Candace
actor.
Owens is a voice actor.
Oh my god. Anything really is possible in America.
Is Danny Trejo in a Bond movie?
Now he's in Spy Kids. That's
He is
basically
in
the
Spy
same thing.
Kids.
Is anyone from Spy Kids from James Bond? Have they not crossed that bridge yet?
Yes, Floop.
Yes,
Alan
yeah,
Cummings.
he was
Oh yeah,
Boris.
Alan Cummings
Yeah.
is in the movie. Okay.
But
Oh,
we're not
yeah,
talking
you're
about GoldenEye. We're talking about Octopussy.
Yeah, this movie that you love.
I love Octopussy.
Octopussy, goddammit.
Yeah, so George McDonald Fraser, he wrote the screenplay and then they gave it to Richard Maibaum and Wilson, and we have
Michael Wilson, yeah.
Michael Wilson, and we have a shining cinematic firmament. Should we go to Cuba, boys?
Yeah.
Let's take a dive into Cuba. Yeah, so
Woo!
we begin our James Bond movie, and James Bond has a truck with a horse in the back, and he switches his clothes and disguises himself as a Cuban general.
General Toro, which is a lot of bull.
Toro sounds like a load of bull.
Oh,
Oh,
yep.
I don't get it. I don't speak Spanish.
Jan has no idea how to Spanish
sorry,
language works.
Jan.
Sorry to our devoted listeners, but if you talk to Jan in Spanish, he won't know what you're talking about.
This is one of James Bond's many disguises in this movie, including a gorilla, a clown, a Cuban general,
A knife thrower,
a knife thrower,
a crocodile.
a crocodile. Yes,
That's right.
Yeah, oh my god. I
Yes.
forgot about the crocodiles.
Plastic crocodile, plastic horse thing, I was like, oh, okay, he's a horse's ass. We're off to a good start.
And there's something weird about that horse, like the entire time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have an asshole.
No. Well, it does have an asshole. It has Roger Moore.
Your observations are very astute,
Hey.
Jake.
But in Cuba, they can't. The Castro regime at the time could not afford to give their horses assholes.
They spent it all on milk.
Yeah.
on building an ice cream palace.
He should have gone undercover as that cow.
Ubre Blanca.
Yeah, Ubre Blanca.
Ubre Blanca was just a horse that Castro was jerking off.
Is that what he's doing when he's not at the horse races in this movie?
That was the delicious milk. That was
Delicious.
Fantastic. But we're already plagiarizing. Anyway, but at Cuba, he's got a mustache, and then we see the real guy, and he looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's great. I love that. That's like Mission Impossible level of shenanigans.
No, I mean, this movie starts off really strong. It goes back to, the first Goldfinger, a little bit of nonsense disconnected from the plot.
No,
opening
exactly.
scene.
Right. Well, it was funny
And
because I was trying to double check what was going on, where we were, and I checked Wikipedia. Wikipedia does not mention any of this in the summary.
No, they completely skip over it in the summary.
It's just the plot.
Wait, did you use Wikipedia for your research, you plagiarizing fuck?
I'm citing my sources, Jan. I'm citing my sources.
You plagiarize. Canceled.
Full disclosure, part of why I really enjoyed this movie is that I actually watched it and I couldn't just read the Wikipedia summary and just fake it all the way through this
Imagine
episode.
if you said, so it starts off with a clown being chased by two knife throwers.
I actually thought that was part of the opening sequence and then they went to Cuba. I forgot that no, Cuba is all the way and then we get
they
to the
skip
clown.
over because I was going to say maybe, there's some high points, but definitely one of the best things in this, when that plane comes out.
Oh yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
James Bond
The airplane
after-
is great. All those fucking stunts are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the airplane, so that comes after they do the National Lampoon Summer Vacation where James Bond is like, pretty lady, hello, look at her leg.
I have a gun now.
And I have a gun now, ho, ho, ho. And then he gets into that jet that they almost killed a guy trying to do.
Did you know that they were going to use that plane in Moonraker, but for some reason they had to write it out of the movie, and then they're like, we want to work in this tiny plane. And apparently it was like some guy in Kentucky or something built it on his spare time, and they're like, we really want to use this little tiny plane.
They always go to Kentucky when they're desperate, don't they?
Yeah.
That's where Broccoli gets all his ideas. Yeah.
When you're down, go to Kentucky.
It's his GoldenEye estate. He just goes to KFC and writes there for hours.
Albert Broccoli has like a warehouse underneath a KFC of random bullshit he can put in the James Bond movies. And he's like, gondola on wheels or tiny plane?
It's all stuff he dreamed.
This is where the dreams are made. Kind of like in
Beautiful
Kingsman 2.
dream.
But yeah, no, all the stuff with the airplane is great. Some sick stunts. It immediately grips you, and then it ends with a pretty funny line. He's like, "Fill her up, please."
Fill her up, please.
Yeah,
And
he
then-
lands in a
Pulls
gas
into a
station.
regular gas station. Planes don't take regular gas.
Yeah,
Bond,
silly,
you cheeky.
silly old man.
I do feel Moore is already a little more awake in this opening. Like he's doing eyebrow acting. He's being cheeky.
They're letting him
Like
move
he's-
his eyebrows.
He's very committed.
Finally.
Okay, I'm gonna say something. Maybe this is a hot take. This is Roger Moore's best performance as James Bond.
I agree. I prefer The Spy Who Loved Me as a movie, but I agree this is his best acting throughout the film.
Yeah, especially when
Yeah.
we
Might
get
be
to that
onto something.
climax, we'll talk
Yes.
about his acting.
Oh, the
but-
climax, that's Oscar-worthy acting from Roger Moore at that
No,
climax.
now that you mention it, yeah.
Like, he just has
yeah,
it so
I agree.
down. Like, being serious when he needs to, but, like, the cheekiness when it's appropriate. Like, he's
Yeah.
playing it like a fucking fiddle. Like,
Yeah.
he's doing it so
And
well.
the material is like suited for him. They're not
Yeah.
trying to write in like scenes that feel out of character for his James.
Yeah, like
Bond.
him breaking women's arms. Yeah.
Though this movie has the bloodiest kills of like the Moore era so far.
There's a lot of squibs.
Yeah, it's badass.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
A guy gets conked on the head with a cannon.
Yeah. Boink. And then another guy gets shot between the eyes by James Bond.
Oh yeah. There's like a
Right.
brutal
And he
close-up of
looks
it.
like he's like 17. Like he looks young.
Sweet boy, but Moore's, yeah, he's sharp right off the bat. And again, I gotta say that plane scene, like immediately you're like, John Glen is improving in his powers.
Oh, yeah.
He's,
This is much better than For Your Eyes Only.
Oh yeah, this is his best directed film.
it's much sharper and more confident, and
Yeah.
I like you just see more fluidity with everything, like the effects, the camera movement, all that kind of stuff.
And
like
you know
flows.
what is great? It's like this movie is one of those James Bond movies that spends very little time on bullshit. It's like
Yes.
in all the
Yeah.
past Bond movies, we've had these like long bullshit scenes of military men doing something in a boat that we don't care about. And this movie immediately is like, Bond, it's in the adventure the whole time and we're with him, you know?
Yes, I agree.
Well, the thing is that even when they do the boring ass scenes with the military guys, the Russian general is so much fucking fun.
Oh, the
Oh,
villains
yeah.
are great.
Like General Orlov is like,
Yeah.
like he's just like over. It's the same guy who played the Russian general in Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
Who's just
He's so
completely
good.
over the top and insane. And apparently the actual guy is kind of crazy too.
Well, yeah, no, that guy was found in an LA theater by like Barbara Broccoli. I'm gonna pull off his name, General Orlov.
Stephen Burkoff.
Octopussy. Stephen Burkoff. And his whole philosophy of acting is you have to be as over the top and crazy as possible. So he is like yelling all his scenes. He is playing it to the nine.
Perfect.
He's just going like, why don't we take advantage and take over Europe?
The West is decadent.
I love that at this point the Soviet Union is just like the new Spectre.
Oh yeah, no, it's
They have
it's
a
Reagan era.
rotating like a turntable and like a projection for evil plans and stuff. But like I don't know, it also kind of struck me that like even this was made at like the height of like the Thatcher years and the Reagan years, but like it still kind of shows like, oh, you know, not all Soviet generals are terrible. So like this Reaganite Thatcherist movie still has like a little bit more nuance than the Ian Fleming books.
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. You have Gogol, you have not Brezhnev, which is a creepy coincidence. So this movie came out after Leonid Brezhnev had died, and the guy who played him in this
Yeah. He looks
died,
just like him too.
Looks just like him. And then he died within a year of this movie coming out.
Yeah. I would have loved if they introduced Brezhnev the same way they introduced Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, that would have been great in the kitchen with like his
Yeah,
wife.
just like doing the
Where he's
dishes.
having phone sex with a parrot.
Give us my kittens. Give us my kittens.
Actually, this movie has an interesting coincidence. Apparently, the inspiration for the version of Octopussy they ended up going with was based off Brezhnev had a nephew who was smuggling jewels across like the Berlin Wall through a German circus.
Oh yeah, that happened all the time, the smuggling through weird shit.
Yeah, that was just a common occurrence back then.
Yeah.
Why circuses?
Because who's gonna look, man? They have
Who
bears.
doesn't love clowns? Like, if you're gonna
Yeah.
smuggle jewels, might as well have fun, right?
Well, as long as we're on the war room, though, we have to go back to the opening.
Oh yeah.
With 009 getting killed.
No, in an all-time high.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah, we skipped forward quite a bit. But
we did.
yeah, all-time high. As much as I love this movie, and as much as I love the film Ted, arguably the greatest film of the 2010s.
Okay.
This is a good song. It's not my favorite.
I mean, I love the use of it in Ted,
What? Oh, we're talking about the song.
and I
Yeah.
really like the song.
It's good.
I
don't
like
hate
Jake
it.
said on the last episode, I like it for how sort of like bland and inoffensive it is. It puts me in a good mood. It's like eating bangers and mash.
Like Rita Coolidge, even the way she sings it sounds like she's not that enthused. She's just kind of like,
No, that's honestly probably one of the weaker parts of the movie, in my opinion. Is the title sequence is kind of a shrug. It's a little bit of everything.
It's nice.
I love the hands going in front of Roger Moore.
Projections came back. We got more projections, you know.
Yeah. Oh, the lasers are awesome.
Oh, the lasers are so silly. I enjoy them.
And then the laser becomes the producing credit and the directing credit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Also, now we've wrapped back to like Morris Binder like ripping off from Russia with Love and Goldfinger with like just like straight up projecting stuff on real
That's
women.
what I was saying,
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, not much to say about the opening. I think it's fine.
Yeah, but then we go to the beginning of the plot, which I feel I didn't realize that the scene where Corin Cleary gets killed by Drax's dogs in Moonraker would be improved if it was a middle-aged clown. But it is. As this clown is chased through the woods by knife throwers.
And it's played so straight, and it's like brutal when he dies.
Yeah.
It's really funny because he's running away like it's a like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees is about to get him in the woods. But it's like two circus knife throwers, and he is a 00 agent. And then even when one of them like comes up in front of him, he just like judo chops them, and like the fear is gone, and then he's running off into the dam or whatever when they're throwing the knives at him.
Yeah, he gets
but
knifed.
I don't know, it establishes the tone very nicely. Like we've talked about, pretty much the best Bond movies so far have been the ones that balance very nicely the silly and the serious, and this opening sequence does that like perfectly, in my opinion. Like it's a middle-aged clown getting chased by God knows who, and it's played so straight. It's immediately gripping. And
it's legitimately like intriguing when, you know, he's running around and he thought he got away from the guy, and then it's another one, you know.
Yeah.
How'd he get there so fast?
Like when he's like reaching out like with his hand giving out like the egg, I'm like, oh my god, this is so sad.
It's at the British foreign ambassador's like black tie gala at his house. He just bursts through the window like
and the ambassador doesn't even seem that shook that a clown just like burst through his window.
An everyday occurrence.
Who is this clown? Why does he have a Fabergé egg?
He's just like, just another day in East Berlin.
Just another day.
Yes.
Well, we all know what happens in East Berlin from Casino Royale.
And Casino Royale.
What's New Pussycat is constantly playing in the sewers.
What's new, pussycat? No.
It's a mad place. It's a madhouse.
That's what was going through his mind as 009 passed. But yes, is that when we go to the Russian war room and General Orlov lays out his master plan?
Well, this, according to my notes, first we say hello to Moneypenny.
Yeah. Oh. Who is now so old that she has her own Moneypenny.
I have to admit something. Earlier in the series, I erroneously said that there is a scene in A View to a Kill where Bond hits on Moneypenny's assistant, and it was actually Octopussy.
Oh my god, Jake.
For this, I am sorry. I rescind my Bond fan card.
Oh
Jake,
my god.
That's it. You don't.
How can we recover from this?
Turn in your membership card.
I'm sorry that I can't remember the latter part of Roger Moore's mediocre tenure as Bond.
We're supposed to be experts. H-Bomber guy's gonna come after us. Our careers are ruined.
Our Patreon,
Jesus.
We're losing funds. We're gonna have to delete this video.
There goes the movie money.
There goes our NordVPN sponsorship.
Damn it.
They're not gonna stand for this level of inaccuracy, Jake. We need fact checkers.
Now, originally, when they were going to go with Brolin, they were straight up just going to write Lois Maxwell out and just have Penelope Smallbone. But then when Roger Moore came back, they're like, all right, we can in all good conscience bring him back and cut out Maxwell.
I do have a funny story about when Lois Maxwell came back.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of took it personally that they were trying to replace her with a younger actress.
She was like in her 70s.
No, she was in her 70s, but she did kind of feel like a little bit jilted by that. And apparently they're filming that scene, and Lois Maxwell quipped saying, meet my new secretary, Bond, Miss Penelope Smallbush. And then Roger Moore said to her, Moneypenny, I know where your mind's at.
And then Roger Moore, like, he turns to everyone and, like, smiles.
Roger Moore is a fucking clown.
He literally in this movie.
Oh, there's also a behind the scenes, you know how like VJ's disguised as a snake charmer? They had like behind the scenes footage and he actually had to carry a basket with a cobra in it. And it shows John Glen give him the basket. And then Roger Moore is slapping the basket while VJ is carrying it with a live cobra inside.
So he's terrorizing children off screen this time, not
Wait, how old do you think VJ is, Jan?
VJ, I don't know, 8? I don't know.
No, he was Jan, he was the guy. Again, we're skipping ahead. Oh god. But he's the guy, he's the contact.
Yeah,
in India.
The kid, the little Indian boy.
No, what? He's 40.
This really did inspire Temple of Doom in so many ways, I guess.
Wait,
Yeah, this is literally almost the exact same plot.
this is the better version of Temple of Doom.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I can't follow you there.
Well, I'm already here.
Temple of Doom is much better made.
No, it is, but it has a worse story.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it
Well,
doesn't.
I'll mention the other Indiana Jones connection, though, which is not one. I hallucinated it, but I'm going to tell the story anyway. I was watching.
Oh God, Paul's breaking down.
Let me tell you my unrelated dream.
Who do you think you are, Cubby Broccoli? Oh, let me tell you my dream of Howard Hughes. It wasn't him.
He told me to say this. No, I was watching Orlov show up, and I'm like, this guy looks really familiar. Is this another Bond actor that was stolen for an Indiana Jones movie after having what's his face from the last movie? And then, of course, Mads Mikkelsen in a movie that hasn't come out yet. We're all very excited for Dial Death.
Everything's making sense,
yeah.
Paul.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
keep talking.
Yep. And I thought, oh, Orlov, is he in one of these movies? And then I checked, no. But we'd seen him recently in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That's why his face was very present to me. And he looks the same in that movie. It's pretty funny.
That was barely a story. That had nothing to do with it.
All right.
It was half a point. It was 3 halves of a point.
I was actually going to mention that he was in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but I forgot. Yeah, because we just watched that.
I have 2 very separate anecdotes we could go in. Do we want to talk about?
I also have one more anecdote.
Oh my god.
Wait, I want to hear Paul's next anecdote.
Story time.
Redeem yourself, Paul.
Okay, well, slightly more on topic. Live Cobra. I
Oh my
forgot to
God.
say in the last episode, that guy gets fully eaten by a shark in the last movie we saw. Like, it's chomping on him. And this movie, anyway, the live animals, I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it in these movies.
What, with the Crocs?
Or the Cobra.
Well,
All right, guys,
No, the
we'll
Cobra
get to these
and
things.
the Cobra in this one and the shark in the last one.
Because I think the Cobras they do with like a glass, right? Like they separate the actor from the Cobra.
No, they didn't even have glass.
Oh, this was a genuine snake charming?
Oh, okay, so here's the story about that. So apparently they had an actual snake charmer come in and give them the Cobra. And no one was sure if the Cobra was defanged. Like John Glen was just like, I had to talk to like 2 translators and I asked, is the Cobra poisonous? And they're like, don't worry about it.
It's a yes or no question.
And then VJ asked them, he's like, is the Cobra venomous? Well, we took a lot of the poison out, but we had to keep some in because it'll die if it doesn't have poison. So the Cobra is venomous.
Oh my god.
So they actually had to handle a Cobra, no protective glass, just with the assurances of a snake charmer going like, don't worry. And no one could understand him.
VJ was definitely afraid of snakes. It should be pointed out. So
I hate snakes.
I'd be shitting my pants. I don't care that VJ's 8 years old. It's scary.
All right, we did skip ahead.
we skipped 40 minutes of the movie. Okay.
Yes.
Before we get to VJ, do we want to talk, because I think we are a little out of order. Do we want to talk about the new M, or do we want to talk about how the Russians have a matching Vladimir Lenin portrait to the Americans having a giant Woodrow Wilson portrait?
Well,
That's a great set.
but the Lenin thing, I think we can get out of the way very quickly,
Yeah.
which is just yes. They do. So the
Yes.
new M.
That's a great set. Yeah.
Oh, I want that poster so badly.
Oh, it's amazing. And the map where they have little tanks and they like move them around, and like General Orlov is like, "What do you mean? You'll give Europe to the West?"
You know what's even funnier? They're having a meeting about something else, and Orlov has like this whole like presentation ready where he just gets up and he interrupts the meeting and he turns everybody's chairs.
It's kind of like when we're talking about Octopussy and Paul just starts ranting about his dream of the girl with the dragon.
how Orlov is not in Indiana Jones.
Well, I was inspired.
You don't know this, listeners at home, but as Paul was saying that, we were rotating like 90 degrees, and I'm like, why are we rotating?
He presented us with a screen and everything with like little
Yeah.
graphics and stuff. It was very well put together and orchestrated.
But we were like, what does this have to do with anything?
Yeah. And Paul's like, if you don't listen to my dream, the West will take Poland. And he's like,
That's right.
But yes, the new M is there.
he is the guy.
Robert Brown.
He was in The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yes, he was as a different character.
I like to think that he's the same character.
Most people do.
That's what I think too, because you know, the way Bond treats M in this, it feels like he like when he tells him his plan about the Fabergé egg later on. It's almost like he's schooling M, like, oh, you don't know my thought process, M. You don't know how I work. Let me school you, son. And then M is impressed with that, which felt like something Bernard Lee wouldn't do. Bernard Lee would go like, oh, good job.
007.
007. Will you please pay attention, 007? This guy's more like 007.
Yeah. This M just like, he looks so sad all the time. His eyebrows are like pouting the entire time.
Robert Brown was also in Taste the Blood of Dracula. Did you guys ever see that?
Did he taste
Did he
it?
taste the blood of... Oh my god, we did the same joke.
Yes, we did. Plagiarist.
But god damn it.
No, he doesn't. And the whole movie happens because he doesn't taste the blood of Dracula.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh.
Him and Wallace from Wallace and Gromit are like elderly Victorian thrill seekers, and they meet this guy who's like, I want to resurrect Dracula, and they're like, that sounds like fun. And then they're about to resurrect Dracula by drinking his blood, and they bitch out, go like, nah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they beat the guy to get death, and then Dracula comes back and kills all the old men.
All right, Paul, we owe you an apology for saying you have the off-topic.
Yeah.
Yay.
This isn't the Dracula podcast.
Going back to our topic, this guy Robert Brown, he looks like one of those old wrinkly like detective dogs that always looks kind of like sad.
Yeah, McGruff the crime. He does kind of have hound dog eyes.
Yeah.
Well, much like the later Connery films, they're learning. You have to surround Roger Moore with older and older people.
Yeah. By the
That's
time
the secret.
it's just gonna be like Jimmy Carter, like he's gonna be the new M.
We're sorry if you're listening, Jimmy, to this episode. But
We're rooting for you, Jimmy.
rooting for you, Jimmy. Anyway,
One more day.
one more hour.
I hope he outlives Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger outlives
that's
everybody.
that's not gonna happen.
Hey, I can't wait for our listeners to be like, I'm so tired of these goddamn Henry Kissinger jokes that everyone's making. Turns on this episode. We got one more, baby.
We got one last one, but yeah, he's got to go to India.
No, he's got to go to an auction to get the property of a lady,
Soulsby's.
which is another Ian Fleming short story.
No, that's right. That is pretty funny when he's like, "Can I inspect the egg?" And he just takes it. Like the worst sleight of hand you've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like a fucking wizard showing you a card trick in the middle of the street is more impressive than whatever he's doing.
But now we're in a classic Bond scenario, the classy auction, based off the Ian Fleming short story Property of a Lady, which I guess they could have called this movie that instead of Octopussy, but that wouldn't have been the right vibe.
No.
Octopus is better.
Yeah, Octopussy's better.
It's catchier.
So he does this weird auction thing with up against, I guess we would consider him our main villain, Kamal Khan.
Kamal Khan, played by Louis Jourdan.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's half and half with
Yeah.
Orlov. But they're both fantastic. Like Kamal Khan is one of those, like he just has such screen presence that even though the character's like not deep or anything, it's still just like fascinating to watch.
Well, it's Louis Jourdan. He's just inherently interesting the way he fucking says everything, especially fucking when he just does Octopussy.
Octopussy. Octopussy.
Octopussy.
Octopussy.
Is this the first Bond villain played by like a legit movie star? Like Louis Jourdan was like a legendary movie star. He was in Letter from an Unknown Woman by Max O'Fools. He's in Gigi.
Are you forgetting about Gert,
Yes,
Go-Gurts.
the biggest star in the world?
the biggest star in the world.
Literally.
Well, he got big as a rapper,
Yeah.
as we learned.
Go-Gurt's the yogurt you squeeze and slurp, grab and glurp.
Oh, and also Christopher Lee. What am I talking about?
Oh yeah, wait,
Yeah,
yeah,
Christopher
Christopher
Lee.
Lee. All right, never mind. Christopher Lee's great, but Louis
And Donald
Jourdan,
Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance, yeah.
he's not a movie star. Him and Telly Savalas are character actors.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
But yes, this guy, the Frenchman playing the
Afghani
Yeah.
Prince.
not
Yes.
ideal, but I'll say this: he's got a good face. If you just ignore what his name is, you know.
And you ignore the fact that they constantly refer to him as an exiled Afghan prince.
What can you tell me about Kamal Khan?
Exiled Afghan prince.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
He's kind of like an anti-Bond. Like, I think that's what makes
Yeah.
him cool. He has an M. He's connected with Octopussy, and he's like a gentleman. And again, we're getting into an anti-Bond, which really works well for villains, I think.
Yeah, kind of like the man with the golden gun.
Yes.
I love him.
I love him too.
He's always scowling.
But he gets the egg,
Yeah.
and
And then
it's
we go
fake.
to India.
Then we go to India. We see the Cobra. How will he find his contact?
Well, DJ is a snake charmer and he's playing music, and then to get Bond's attention, he starts playing the Bond theme.
Yes.
That raises so many questions.
Which is that the Bond theme is the official theme of MI6.
No,
in
it doesn't
universe.
raise. We've established that in this universe, Bond is famous now.
Yes.
Everyone knows who he is because he's the worst spy ever, and he has his own theme song.
Yeah, like presumably this implies that the Bond movies now exist in universe.
Yeah.
Well, not. It could be like an orchestral suite in his honor.
And you know who's playing James Bond? Neil Connery.
Neil Connery. Okay, Connery.
Oh, I was gonna say Sean Connery. What if he went to the theater in this movie and there was Never Say Never again?
And he's watching it, and he goes, "I could be up there."
He's like, that would never happen. I would never do that. I don't even look anything like that.
I'm not that old.
I've never been gray. in the
I'm
past.
older. But no, the other thing, the reason why they did that apparently is in order to compete with Never Say Never Again. Did John Barry do the score for this?
Yes,
They told
he came
him-
back.
They told him use the James Bond theme as much as possible because that McClory hack can't use it.
Well, they're
Yeah.
like, use all the Bond trademarks, the gun barrel, the theme song, opening title sequence.
Gadgets are back.
Oh, gadgets are back with a vengeance.
Gadgets are back.
Yeah. But they're
Yeah.
not too silly. They're
No, they're not too silly.
the
They're
appropriate
fun.
amount of silly. This is one of the more well-balanced movies.
Yeah.
Well, this has like a door that like has like spikes on it and like kills
Yeah.
people that way.
Oh, but that's just a bunch of fun.
Like, there's some
Little bit of
wacky
fun.
stuff, but
It's
yeah.
not quite as wacky as in Moonraker with wait, was it Moonraker? Was that the one with the No. I'm thinking of Spy Who Loved Me. The one
Yeah.
with the
Oh, the tea that decapitates you?
I want that ready for Ahmed's tea party.
the tea thing that decapitates
Oh, yeah,
you.
that was Spy Who Loved Me. And then Moonraker had the bolas that decapitate you.
Balls cue.
Bolus 007.
What was the thing that just launches you up in the air? That was Spy Who Loved Me.
That's my. Can we just agree that Q is like a maniac that wants to murder everyone?
They have to keep. I always forget when watching these movies how
like a
often
torture chamber.
Q is in like a safe house outside of British soil because he can never set foot on British soil for all the men he's killed.
Yeah,
he's been disavowed.
No, if they restarted the Spanish Inquisition, I know who I would hire to do that.
Now pay attention, 007. This man is apparently Jewish.
Yeah.
I don't care for this. Let's put him in this booby
This
visitor
here is what we call a Christ killer. He must repent for his sins.
Now, 007, pay careful attention. You will garrote him with this watch wire.
Anyways, India is so pretty.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
I found that I really like the travelogue type James Bond movies where he just goes to like one specific location for most of the movie. I love when he goes to Japan. I love when he goes to the Alps. And I just love when he spends the whole time in India. I think it's delightful.
I was gonna say, this does have a lot of parallels to You Only Live Twice, like overall.
Which is why I like it, yeah.
Well, and Goldfinger. I would say this and, Goldfinger and You Only Live Twice are probably the two biggest similarities.
He's definitely more active here than in Goldfinger.
Well, yeah, no, that was my thing. That's why I actually think this movie is the improved second draft of Goldfinger in many ways. But part of it is this might be like the most active James
Jake
Bond.
is gonna have a heart attack.
I see, like,
he's trying to be on your team, Troy.
I'm finally on your side of going like Octopussy is pretty good, and then you have to go in and go like it is better than Temple of Doom and is better than Goldfinger. I'm like, okay, no,
but
no.
it is.
I gave you that it's good.
You didn't give me my opinion. I don't plagiarize.
We'll see. H-Bomber guy's gonna investigate the shit out of you.
Jake can't be on your team, Troy, because he doesn't want to plagiarize.
Whenever you're praising a movie, it's like you're making really good political points about something, and then you just like sneak in a conspiracy theory, and we're like, wait, no, the last part's not, no.
But anyway, yes,
what?
Bond is more active, but you mentioned Temple of Doom. So if I may mention another Indiana Jones movie Paul mentioned, Dial of Destiny, are we in our first cart chase? Or is James Bond just being driven to the club after he meets VJ?
Oh my god, the cart chase is amazing.
The cart chase is great.
That's when I was like fully on board with the movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's great.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's some visual parallels to.
The Dial of Destiny's cart chase.
I was gonna say, the only note I wrote is that they throw like the world's largest throwing star at him, and he is impaled on it. But he pulls out like a 1-inch thick wad of cash to stop the giant knife.
When I watched that, I was like, oh my god, James Bond died.
Yeah, like he did.
No, it's a good fake out moment.
How did I forget this is the one where he died?
Oh no, that's
they
never
would
gonna
never
happen.
do that. They would never do that.
They would never do that. They would never kill James Bond.
Oh yes, and then I did write down the line. Thank God for hard currency.
Oh, thank God for hard currency.
Yeah, that made you smile.
Yes.
But they wait. Entertainment Weekly apparently like ranked Octopussy low on James Bond list once because they said you never believe he could die during this movie, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Roger Moore looks like he's gonna kick it any minute.
if not from the bad guys, from a heart attack.
Yeah.
An 80-year-old man is clinging for his life onto a plane.
Yeah, like what?
That's
what
not an 80-year-old man.
When he's around all those attractive women in bikinis, like you want to check the pulse on his arm because he might just get too excited.
No, but like, so we back to the car chase. Like we were saying on the last episode, how like when he gets on Tiny Car, it's awesome.
Yes.
Because it reminds us of the Mission Impossible movies, and this thing that we love about those is like the spy is always a little bit like out of his element and having to do important things but in silly situations. I love that about this movie. I love that they're having a chase, but in a little tiny cart. I love that he has to defuse a bomb, but he's dressed like a clown. Like, I love taking James Bond out of his cool
no, that's what's great.
like
is
that.
This movie throws him for a loop. It's not about James Bond being cool, because that's my issue with this franchise. When the franchise is just about, look how cool he is,
well,
I don't care. I don't care. But when he's just getting into ridiculous hijinks, that's when I'm like, I'm in, baby.
I like, have a little bit of column A, have a little bit of column B.
Yeah, same.
He can be cool, but if he has to dress up as a clown every once in a while, when he has to pull a blade out of a blade swallower's throat.
Oh
let
my
it happen.
God. I think we skipped past the backgammon game, but we'll circle back to it. But where he goes through like every Indian stereotype in like 3 minutes to fight the bad guys, like he pulls a blade out of a guy's mouth and like
He throws a guy onto a bed of nails.
And then the guy screams, "Hey, get out of my bed!"
It's like the opening scene from Aladdin.
yeah, it is like one jump ahead in Aladdin.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
like
love
one
that
jump.
scene. One ahead of the red line, one jump ahead of Louis Jourdan.
Which Aladdin takes place in a completely different region, but you know, to Hollywood, it's all the same.
In Hollywood, it's the same rules.
Yeah.
There you go. And then, of course, it ends with they drive through a poster, and then another one drops down, and I'm like, and I'm for a second, I'm like, what? You know? But I guess that was part of the plan. And then he says, "It certainly pays to advertise."
It certainly pays to advertise.
Which, you know, these aren't the best one-liners, but they're okay. You know,
They're pretty good.
Well, this movie, I think, brings the one-liner back to form. Like when he's playing backgammon with Louis Jourdan, and like he beats him with his loaded dice.
that's I was telling Jake right after I watched it a couple days ago. I'm like, this is like by far the most exciting gambling in any of these movies. There's
That's
a lot
what
of
I was
gambling in
gonna
these
say.
movies.
Yeah.
It's like clearly defined. We know who's cheating. We know how he's going to beat him.
Yeah, and backgammon's like such an easy game. Even a moron like me can understand what's going on.
I don't have to have the rules of like Texas Hold'em yelled at me. Like for 5 minutes.
Yeah, again, yeah, like John Glenn is definitely leveling up when he's breathing life into stuff like that. And for me, once he's just after that, like once he's just like chilling at the hotel, the movie kind of downshifts for a while.
What?
Nah, that part's so entertaining.
We got Magda, bro. Magda?
Yes.
Magda's great.
Magda is fun.
I love how she escapes with her little dress and then she ends up in a bikini.
Yeah, so Magda is this force of chaos who like works for Octopussy, but also works for Louis Jourdan, but is sleeping with James Bond. And I don't even know if she's a villain. I think she just is. Like,
Yeah, she just does whatever.
No, she's just in the Octopussy cult. Like, they
Yeah.
just follow Octopussy. They think she's God.
which is a cult, but it seems to be like a seminar of some kind. Which
It's
okay,
more of like a wellness retreat.
It's funny, like, because when Octopussy's saying, like, I gave them a sense of purpose, they were lost, and they found me and stuff, I was half expecting James Bond to just be like, that sounds like a cult.
She admits that she's like, I restarted the Octopussy cult. Or the cult of the octopus.
So you went into business for yourself.
Yes, but I needed an organization, so I revived the old octopus cult.
which is confusing because wasn't Octopussy her nickname because her dad studied octopuses?
But I think the cult is officially called the Octopus Cult or something like that.
You mean like Spectre?
They have paraphernalia. I mean, Magda has been branded.
Brandon, and she calls her tattoo her little Octopussy.
That's my little octopussy.
And Roger Moore's face, whenever they say Octopussy, is amazing. Just when he asks like, "Oh, what is this little thing right here?" That's my little Octopussy, and then he almost looks at the camera, breaks the fourth wall, going like, "Okay."
Roger
man.
Moore's like looking at the script off like below the frame, like, oh my god.
Yeah, and me not having seen this before, I'm like, oh, so she's octopus, you know?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
She works for Octopussy.
There is a woman named Octopussy, and she gets an entrance that rivals Bond.
Oh yeah, the first scene.
She's all hidden.
Yeah.
You just see her octopus, you see her hands, and Louis Jourdan is just like talking to her, and she's like obscured, and they don't show her face.
I don't say this often in a James Bond movie, but that scene was cinematic.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like the way it built. You get the inset, the little octopuses, because this movie is great at building Octopussy up that you think it's going to be the main villain.
Right.
Yeah, I must say, I don't know. I can understand if some people find it kind of disappointing of like, who's this Octopussy? And then they're just like, oh, it's just like a girl. Like, you know, like
I mean, wait, Jan, let's break that down. Whoa, what's Octopussy? Oh, it's a woman?
You pulled a Roger Moore. A woman.
A woman.
a woman.
A woman.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that's my one big gripe with this movie is like the movie's called Octopussy and Octopussy herself. Like, she's not bad. She's way more interesting than the other Bond girls that we've gotten. But like, for her to be the title, it doesn't quite justify. Like, I don't think she's that
I
interesting.
find Maud Adams, I like Octopussy because she's like an equal to Bond. Like, I like that it's like Bond finally meeting an equal. Of all his love interests, I feel she's the one who's the most like his Catwoman.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know if I would say that she's like the Catwoman. You know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of Vesper in Casino Royale 1967.
Right down to the... Oh.
You know, like, she already has, like, a movie of her own where she's, like, a infamous successful crime lord / business magnate.
Yeah.
And there's, like,
It's
all this
true.
other stuff.
I love it. Well, again, and that's the interesting thing is when Ursula Andress and Maud Adams get their second chance as a Bond girl, right? They're, like, so much more capable than they were the first time.
Yeah,
they were Bond
exactly.
Two great, equally competent movies.
Yeah. Oh, brother. But this one's like
brother.
fun.
But I was gonna say, Troy, how did you feel about Octopussy's guards or whoever are dressed like the Flash?
Yes, they're dressed. Well, I got Charlie's Angels.
I got Flash Gordon.
Yeah, Flash Gordon
Okay,
too.
all right. Flash,
Flash, and Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels. But anyway, all right. So Magda seduces Bond and gets the egg, which has some sort of receiver in it.
Yeah.
A little mic.
Yeah.
It has a tracker that was given to him by Q.
Well, I mean, I generally enjoyed most of the Magda scenes, but when he's in bed, I'm like, oh man, oh, it's City Miles.
Did you know Roger Moore is older in this movie? He's the same age in this movie that Abraham Lincoln was when he died.
Did you know that Roger Moore is older in this movie than I don't know who's really old?
Henry Kissinger.
But I did notice every time a woman kisses Roger Moore in this movie, you see her gag reflex. Like you see a little recoil. So I'm not sure if that's I have to kiss Roger
This
Moore.
90-year-old man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Magda gets into it with Roger Moore. She's
Magda's great. She's nailing her performance.
She like totally eats his face during that scene.
Oh yeah, she's in this movie to play. But before we move on from Q, he has an assistant in the underground Indian lab, and his name is Smithers, and he's played by Jeremy Bulloch, who was Boba Fett.
What?
Oh.
Are you making this up? I
No,
don't
I am
remember an
not.
assistant. I just watched this yesterday.
Yeah, no, Bond mentions him by name like twice.
Yeah.
Smithers? Commander? Very nice, Smithers.
No, you guys are trying to Mandela effect me again.
No, Boba Fett. He's in the movie.
Boba Fett. Where?
In the movie Octopussy.
Okay, all right.
I type in Q assistant and I get John Cleese. What the fuck?
No, because that's in the world is not enough. John Cleese is R, his assistant.
If you're Q, does that make him R?
Ah, yes, the legendary 007 wit. Or at least half of it.
And then in the next movie, he's Q, and they don't acknowledge that he's the same guy.
R.
But he is.
Well, we'll get to die another day, but we're talking about Octopussy.
Yeah, so the other scene that somewhat unfortunate, but Spielberg and Lucas were taking notes with the
the
stuffed
dinner?
sheep's head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, this
right.
is somehow even more racist than Temple
No,
of Doom.
I'm actually going to call it because it's one dish. It's one dish. It's not the buffet of offensiveness.
Yeah, but it's a dish that they actually eat in India. It's not like monkey brains, and Roger Moore just gives this like face.
Well, wait. So James Bond has to be like, a sheep's head. That looks appetizing. Like,
we eat it in
I don't
Mexico.
know.
Well, and then Louis Jourdan just goes in and like starts eating the eyeball.
Which were marzipan.
Yeah, we do that in Mexico too. It's not.
Okay. I'm sorry, Jan. I'm sorry I'm being worse than Temple of Doom right now for saying I wouldn't eat
I think you should check yourself. I think H-Bomber Guy's gonna do a video on you very soon.
I'm sorry, YouTube. I know my standing in the bread tube community is broken by my inability to not eat eyeballs.
Our commitment to Nebula and its scams, I mean its sponsorships, is tantamount, okay?
Again, we cannot emphasize enough.
We would never insinuate that Nebula is a giant scam.
No,
we would never insinuate
We
this.
would never say that it's just that guy with the classes.com that you pay for.
With slightly smarter people.
So obviously we're not on there yet, but my channel on Nebula is doing very well, and I hope you guys also buy a lifetime membership for this holiday season.
Only $500, baby.
Nose goes. Who among us is currently paying for Nebula?
You might know Paul by his other channel name.
Okay, hold on.
We're gonna bleep that.
Wait, you can't say that, Jake. Okay, anyway, so they hunt Bond for sport, and there are tigers.
Yes.
Okay, wait. So yes, wait. Have we already? So it's already been revealed that Kamal Khan is working for Orlov.
Yeah, some people are sneaking around the palace at night.
Yeah.
Oh, James Bond's in the meat hook room.
There are guys on hooks, and I'm like, who are they?
Yeah.
They got killed with the helicopter. They got killed to cover up that Orlov's working with him.
So basically, in exchange for Russian jewels,
They're jewels, Betty. They're jewels.
Khan is gonna smuggle this like bomb that's gonna like detonate a chain reaction that will allow the Soviet Union to take over all of Europe, which is
Well,
good.
basically, I figured out the plan.
The plan is disarmament.
No, that's not the plan. The plan is so Kamal Khan is working with Octopussy, who's a jewel smuggler. They're both jewel smugglers. General Orlov is getting Kamal Khan. He's giving him a shipment of jewels to build organically to bring to Octopussy. Once that is then installed into the cannon that is an Octopussy circuit, which travels the border of West and East Germany, they will go and they will sub out the jewels for a small nuclear device. The nuclear device will go off in the circus when it is in a U.S. Army base, and it will make it look like the United States blew up their own nuclear device.
By mistake.
On mistake. So Europe will pull out of NATO. They'll want America out of it. And then once America is pulled out of Europe, General Orlov will send in the Russian tanks to take out all of Europe.
This is a fantastic plan.
It's a great plan by James Bond standards.
He does specifically say that his plan is to create an accident that will cause the West to dismantle their nuclear weapons so that they can just march across the border.
Yes, that's the one sentence version of it.
Which is great.
I was rooting for Orlov so hard.
He's so committed. I love when he smashes the Fabergé egg. Like Kamal's like, I got you this egg, and he's like, fake.
Yeah.
He takes it out.
Yeah.
And then there's like the Romanov star.
Oh yeah, the Romanov star is getting passed around. Can we talk about a very important character who's gotten some glorious snap zooms already, but we haven't talked about them? Gurbinder?
Who?
Yes.
Kamal Khan's right-hand guy.
I like Gurbinder.
Gurbinder.
You guys are making up characters.
No, he has a turban.
He's Jaws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's great,
the guy that decapitates the monkey suit. Yeah.
Yeah, he crushes dye in his hands into dust.
Yes, he's fantastic. Every time you see him, the camera's dollying, the camera's zooming. He's bringing in menace. He's like looming over every scene. That guy has a great presence.
They do so many zooms. There's even a GIF.
I know.
Yeah.
I noticed on the GIF thing on Messenger when I was looking up Octopussy, one of the GIFs is just one of the many slow zooms into his face.
It's great. John Glen is like really using the camera. He's really creating a sense of place, and he's really creating emotional storytelling. And I'm like,
yeah.
And also, like, it's talking about emotional storytelling. Like, this movie is so consistently inventive.
Yes.
Like the very next thing that we get is like a manhunt, a safari manhunt for James Bond.
It becomes a Tarzan movie.
They're on top of elephants.
They're doing the most dangerous game.
Yes, the most dangerous game. James Bond tells a tiger to be quiet.
Yeah, no, he like Bond is like so done at this point that he can shush a tiger.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
Sit.
Well, I thought, isn't there's a big snake that shows up, and I thought he said hiss off.
Hiss off.
Oh yeah, he
Yes,
says
you
hiss
did.
off.
I think I wrote that.
He gets a bunch of plastic spiders, like get entangled in them.
But
that
yes,
was fun.
he swings on a giant vine, which goes forever, much like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, actually.
Yeah, and he does a Tarzan yell.
He does a
Yeah,
Tarzan yell.
Ah!
This movie is James Bond as the pulp hero, as the swashbuckler. It invokes other pulp heroes like Tarzan, Aladdin, Pagliacci.
Wait,
I was like, where's he going with this? But yes, you do have a point.
There is a more successful version of, what was it? The Live and Let Die gag, which has like the American Tourist, right? Where he hops on their boat. And is like, they're like, where did you come from? He's like, oh, I'm in the economy tour.
Yeah.
Hey, you all right, buddy? I'm fine.
Are you with our group?
No, ma'am, I'm with the economy tour.
And they're like, we're from Cincinnati or Toledo or
Yeah,
something.
their boat has a banner that says Cincinnati Elks Lodge or whatever. you know.
Meanwhile, what I love, Louis Jourdan is doing this whole hunt from the top of an elephant, which can't be like helping him get Bond, but it's about the presentation
yeah,
that he has to kill
Right.
Bond from on top of an elephant.
It's such a wonderful scene.
Yeah.
Seeing people on a manhunt always makes me happy.
Oh yeah,
for
no,
some
it's
reason.
great. When Bond gets in the jungle, this movie is great because it knows all action cinema is people running in forests. That's what we respond
Nothing better
to.
than a
Yeah.
good chase. Nothing better than a
Yeah.
good chase. So then he has to infiltrate to find Octopussy, and this is where we get
the crocodile costume.
again the series has to top itself, right? Because Sean Connery had a bird on his head in
Yeah.
Goldfinger.
Now he's in a metallic underwater vehicle that is a crocodile.
I started laughing so hard. Like, I just thought it was awesome.
The mouth opens and there's a tiny little windshield inside its mouth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that he
And-
doesn't get wet.
And then there's this old man inside.
And then he gets on the island,
Something even scarier inside.
and everyone's just so chill with him, and he meets Octopussy, and that's like one of my favorite scenes in the James Bond canon is when he meets Octopussy. And they talk about the plot of the short story, how her dad was
Yeah.
Sir Dexter Spife, and he did traitorous secrets, and he ran away, and his
he
wife...
smuggled Nazi gold or something.
yeah, he smuggled Nazi gold. He loved gold! Anyway.
Oh,
But,
they should have made the dad Goldfinger.
Yeah, the dad should have just been Goldfinger.
Oh.
Your father died like a gentleman. He got sucked out a window.
He died by getting sucked out of a window and he got stuck.
Yeah, man, thank you for giving my dad an honorable death.
You let him go out like a G instead of getting arrested.
That's right. Killed in combat.
She thanks Bond for allowing him to shoot himself. And again, that's what I like about the Roger Moore Bond is he is the kind of Bond who would be like, here, take your gun,
He's a
do
gentleman.
it yourself. Yeah,
a
and
gentleman.
that sells the character.
It makes him palatable.
He's much less brutish than Sean
Yeah.
Connery, who's just like this drunk man in Vegas shooting people in the head left and right.
And he's
Drunk man
also
in Vegas.
the class asshole who always makes fun of the teacher but gets away with it because he's so funny.
Yeah. I make teacher cry. Look at this.
Look at this.
I feel Roger Moore is at his most boyish in this movie. Like, he's just very silly.
Ironically, yes.
I love how often him and Kamal Khan just walks into a room and it's like, you keep surviving. And James is like, yes.
Oh yeah, because he shows up in Octopussy's
Yeah.
chambers.
That's such a own. Just like,
And then yeah, Khan comes in and he barely even acknowledges him at the beginning. He's just kind of like, he's just kinda,
Well, no, Bond hides behind the door and he's like, Bond's escaped. And she's like, funny story about that. And Bond comes out and he's like, Jesus.
yeah, I was also thinking like The best secret agent of all time. He just hides behind the door. Like, it reminded me of like in Arrested Development, the lawyer that's like, I shall hide behind the couch. Like,
All time high. Nobody does it better. James
So the
Bond.
next thing I wrote down was henchman with gimmick. A
Yeah,
saw.
the yo-yo guy.
Yo-yo man.
Yo-yo
And again,
man.
so VJ has been given a lot more respect. He was a very famous celebrity in India at the time as a tennis player, hence why he jokes, I'm working on my backhand.
the
But
character or the guy?
actor.
Okay.
The actor was a famous he's still alive. He is a famous tennis player.
Oh, so he's like playing himself.
He's playing himself. He's essentially a celebrity cameo. He was the first person cast for Octopussy. He actually did screen test with James Brolin as well, because they were like, this guy's gonna make this movie work.
And he's fun. I like VJ.
Yeah, he's great. He's like an equal
We all
to
like
Bond.
BJ.
Hey,
That was a Roger Moore line.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But
Having trouble keeping it up, Q.
Yeah.
Having problems keeping it up, Q?
he's being treated as an equal, but alas, much like all other Bond allies before him, he must die. And he dies at the hand of a guy who throws like a circle shot.
He throws like a Tojo blade on
Yeah.
a string.
That's almost like a spaghetti western or like a Tarantino thing, like with the snap suit and everything. It's
Yeah, exactly.
so cool.
Oh, and then when Khan like recruits them, he puts like a Roger Moore's headshot on the table.
Oh, yeah, it
and
is-
then the guy just chops it in half, and you're just
Yes.
like, yes, this is
Yeah.
some classic bad guy villainy shit. You go to
it's
the bounty
so
hunters, and the bounty
violent.
hunters do something
Yeah.
dastardly to effigy of the hero. It's great.
Yes.
You know
I
they
love
mean
it.
business. And the fact that, it's just a saw on a stick just destroying the set.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't, if you have to kind of look for it like I was to see like the arm, it's right there, but that's, it's not even a especially good effect, but that's when you have an editor who knows how to, you're not looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Even though there's just literally just a saw,
And John Glen was an editor too, so
Yeah, John Glenn shot for the edit, and it
That's
shows
right.
Yeah.
beautifully here.
Also, this is undoubtedly John Glen's prettiest looking movie, I will say.
Oh yeah, I agree.
so far, yeah.
This is his best looking movie.
Well, he's only made two, but
View to a Kill looks like a TV movie. And then you get Living Daylights doesn't look bad, but License to Kill looks
No,
like a canon film.
but this one has India and the sunset.
Yeah.
It's
and glowing
nice.
lights, like Octopussy put so much effort into how she built like her cult.
Yeah, the set design is also pretty great.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
It's a good old company man, Peter Lamont.
Yep.
Did you know that Peter Lamont got when he was location scouting in India, his plane got hijacked?
Well,
By
I
who?
mean,
I don't know who, but like he was just on the plane back to England, and then his plane got hijacked, and he watched the flight crew retake the plane
Damn.
Oh,
in front of him, and then apparently there was a passenger sitting next to him, going like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I work on the James Bond movies," and then the guy next to him was like, "You don't have any gadgets with you, do you?"
That's pretty good.
yeah, that's pretty good. Hey.
was his passenger Roger Moore?
It was Roger Moore in his Cuban outfit.
Yeah.
No,
Roger.
it was Bernard Lee who's been in hiding to.
He's not dead, actually.
I'm not doing more of these.
Yeah.
I'm not doing more of these.
Rumors of my death have been highly exaggerated.
Do you have any alcohol on you, sir?
Yeah.
But our Saw Man, he gets dispatched pretty quick because
Yeah.
he gets an octopus in the face.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that was also amazing.
Wait, no, that wasn't the Saw Man.
Wasn't it?
It was one of the people in that team.
It was one of the guys. It wasn't the Saw Man, because the Saw Man
I forget.
breaks through the door, and there's that, sometimes these movies where like the action scenes are like, oh, it would have been fun if they had a gag like this. And I'm like, oh, are they going to, please tell me that they didn't forget to do the gag where Octopussy's by the door and the saw comes through right next to her face. And of course, they got it. I was like, yes.
There you go.
and the octopus is like sucking on his face, like
Yeah, he is going to town.
it reminded me of The Boys. when the octopus sucks. Well, yeah, you've seen The Boys. You know what I'm talking about.
I haven't gotten to that part
Oh
of the
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now we know why it's called Octopussy.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
So Roger Moore, he dispatches them, but in the process, he does a death fake out where he ends up back in the crocodile. And Octopussy is actually sad that he might have died, which I don't know why, but that's such a unique moment in the Bond series where his love interest is like, oh, wait, I liked him.
He was a cool guy.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it turns out Bond actually escaped in his robo alligator costume.
And Q is Q fishing?
He's fishing. It's so cute. I love it.
Yeah, but like next to a corpse?
Yes.
Next to VJ's sawed-in-half corpse.
Yeah, I love that at this point in the movies, Q's just like, even though he's 95, he's just out there in the field. Like, he's just a field agent.
Oh my god, wait for License to Kill. You're gonna love that.
I was gonna say, License to Kill is the only movie that has more Q than Octopussy.
Yeah.
It's
Q
that
is like a
movie's great.
central figure in the plot.
It's the only movie where Q has more pussy than Octa. No, wait, that didn't make sense.
Jan,
Abort.
we don't have writers, folks. We improv this whole podcast.
That's how you know it's not plagiarized.
We obviously did not plagiarize these jokes that we can't finish.
We don't even know what we're saying.
I wanted to make a joke about Q's pussy.
Oh, 007. Stop making jokes about my pussy.
Just smile and nod. Smile and nod.
My wop, 007. My wop. So then we find VJ's corpse.
Okay, no, continue.
My
I'm just
wop.
gonna ignore that.
Wet
Continue.
ass P-word.
No, that's okay. Yeah,
Now,
that's
I
fine.
can say it. We established this. Me
Yeah,
and Jan
that's
can
fine.
say it.
That's fine. That's fine.
But so they get back to the beach.
Wait, why can't we
And-
say it? Are we like,
We're Italian.
is Q Italian?
No. Q's not Italian. I'm imitating a Welshman.
This went from a cut bit to this is staying.
No, Q is a Welshman who is talking about his wet ass pussy. Jan.
Okay, I got it now.
All right. Anyway, Q has a family. I think that's established in one of the films. But they find VJ's body, and Q is like, he was alive when I found him. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, they don't even give him a death scene.
Yeah. And then James Bond just sadly goes, no problem. Because that was his catchphrase.
No problem. No problem.
No more problems.
That sucks.
Later in the movie, someone pointed this out online. I didn't realize it while I was watching it. Someone says to James Bond, no problem, and he gets sad because he's remembering his friend who died. Because again, Octopussy, like all the great James Bond movies, there's a weight to death. The kills have weight. The death of your friends have weight. The death of James Bond, the death of your parents has weight. Oh,
Troy, TV Tropes has pointed out many things that just turned out to just flat out be false. I don't even remember the second look when someone says no problem, but
it's the look in his. I don't remember either. That might not even be a thing.
Carl will take you in.
No problem.
Wait, what are you talking about, Troy? What has weight?
Death.
Death has weight, Jan,
Well,
and
sure.
that's why this movie. Okay.
I was playing with my silly putty. I didn't pay any attention to it.
Okay, that's fine. But your brain did.
Then they're out of India, right? And now they're off to the circus.
They're off to
Yeah.
Germany, to the
Yeah.
town of Fieldstadt, which is German for field town, and it's not a real place.
Wait, no. Isn't it at the time it's Karl Marxstadt?
Maybe that's the joke.
There may have been something that said that.
Yeah.
No, well, the town now is called Chemnitz, but at the time it was called Karl Marxstadt.
Maybe they shot it in East Germany, but in the world of the movie, they're in West Germany, right? Because they're on an American base.
Oh, first they go to West Germany and then to East Germany.
Wait, what? No, other way around.
Or the other way around.
yeah, no, because then there's that moment when Bond's in the car with M and they're driving into East Germany.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that was the one bit is that there is like a real shot of Checkpoint Charlie or something.
Yeah.
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 Wait, does Gogol not know that M is in East Germany?
I don't
I guess
know.
not.
Yeah.
A presence I haven't felt since.
Yeah.
Do we think Gogol knows there's a new M, or do you think they keep this M like they're gonna try to keep someone secret at MI6? Like someone.
They gotta have some secrets. I mean, they're an intelligence agency.
At the M, Gogol and M are like drinking it up.
Oh yeah, you're right. They blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
They're blowing each other.
Well, it's Gogol. He's a sex machine. He's Russia's greatest sex machine.
Now a proud tradition that I give to all the new M's. Just blows them.
He's just like, are you sure this is tradition? Shut up.
I give you the BJ. Did you say VJ?
He's like, why did you say that name? It starts
My
crying.
friend!
My friend VJ.
He died!
VJ. But yes, we see there's a bomb on the train.
Yes.
A nuclear bomb.
Orlov, I think, basically lays out the plan.
Well,
which
wait. Has
Yeah.
James Bond already fought the knife thrower?
Well, I think it's like because the train bit, it's a two parts, and that was going to
Yeah.
be my hot take, is that the train bit's like kind of whatever
What?
until he
No.
gets the car on the tracks.
Oh, that's
basically.
great.
That's
I love when the
amazing
car
when he
gets
has
on
the current train.
Yeah.
When he gets to the train proper,
Yeah.
you know, again, we've talked about this reminding us to Indiana Jones. This reminded me of the train stuff in Last Crusade. And I gotta say,
Yes.
out of all the train scenes that we've gotten in James Bond, so far this one's my favorite one.
Well, this one was my favorite because it reminded me of Paddington 2.
Yes, and it also reminded me of Paddington.
Another great
Yeah,
train.
kind of,
They're
yeah.
fighting on top of the train. They're dressing up
Yeah.
in silly costumes, but there's also
Yeah.
like genuine tension to it. Like it's wonderful.
Though I do kind of think that that all the business on the train, I'm like, I love the last part of the train chase, but then you have like another 20 minutes of the train beforehand, like train shenanigans. Like if it was interspersed throughout, I'm like, oh, this is great, but it's like one after the other.
Well, when he's kind of like running around like the inside of the train.
Well,
You
wait, when does
Yeah.
James Bond get the knife throwing clothes? This is after the train, right? He's
this is
fighting
when he
them on the train.
first sees them put the nuke into the
Yes.
cannon.
Okay.
Right,
And
he's just
so-
kind of sneaking around for a bit there, yeah.
This is the only time he encounters General Orlov, right? Like this is their face to
Right,
face.
because that's when he like overhears like about
Yeah.
the whole plan, and then there's the bit where he's in the monkey costume.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's in the gorilla costume.
Mhm.
And is Gerbinda like looking for him?
Yeah, and he
yeah.
chops the monkey suit in half, and Bond
Yes.
is already like making his way to the
Yoink!
roof of the train.
Great shot, beautiful shot.
Beautiful.
Great.
That's like Spielbergian, actually. Like when the head flies off, and right behind him.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
reminded me of in Last Crusade when
Yeah.
he gets on the trunk and then the guy opens it and River Phoenix is already like running away from the train, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, the image of Roger Moore's eyes just like moving around
in a
in
gorilla
the
suit.
In a grinning monkey costume.
I could not sleep last night. It just haunted me.
What is
Yeah.
more terrifying, Roger Moore as a clown or Roger Moore in that monkey costume?
Roger Moore without any outfit.
Yeah, I would say
Fair
nude
enough.
more.
It's
Nude more.
Nude Moore, yeah.
No,
Nude
I'm sure
more.
he looked fine nude.
Third nipple Moore.
Oh,
yeah. Oh my.
No.
oh my god.
Why
oh
did
my
you
God.
say that name?
But
Look at it!
there's a great moment with Orlov. When he talks to Orlov, we get a repeat of the great moment from The Spy Who Loved Me, where I forget what he says to, like, Orlov basically reveals that he's going to nuke the base, and James Bond goes, "What the fuck?" Like, I love whenever Roger Moore is that's awful.
And it doesn't matter a damn to you, I suppose, that thousands of innocent people will be killed in that accident of yours.
When he's like, wait, I gotta do something about this.
Well, this is
I
bad.
gotta actually do my job.
No, that's amazing because it's the first time we've actually seen James Bond instead of just like blindly following the mission and like, hey, might
Yeah.
get laid, you know? It's the first time that we see him like actually care for human lives and being
Right.
like, I need to stop this just because people are gonna die. you
Kids
know?
are gonna die. Like, a bunch of kids are gonna get, like, nuked.
Yeah.
And elephants.
That's right. All the
Yeah.
These drunk U.S. generals are gonna get like fucking obliterated.
Yeah, James.
Yeah.
This was his arc was learning to care for elephants after he spent time in India.
He used to fear them when Louis Jourdan would ride them with a little hat on, but now he realizes the elephant is his friend.
Yeah, they're the friends.
You know, everybody has a star.
If you really want to know just who you are, you're a star.
Like the Romanov star.
But yeah, so you were saying, Paul?
Oh, well, just that, you know, when he's running on the train, I'm like, this is pretty fantastic. Action cinema, baby.
Yeah, it's great.
When the car is on the tracks.
Great.
It's awesome. They do the thing where it switches and it runs headfirst into another train. Again, the stunts, I'm like, my God.
The car
because
flies.
the car flies into the river, barely misses a guy.
No, I gasped when I watched that part. I was like, ah! Like, because that guy, I wouldn't be surprised if he got clipped a little bit by the car, because it looks like he's like there.
He was like 2 feet away from getting like actually cut in half when the car like fell on him.
Yeah. How cool would it have been if he had actually, you know,
what if people had actually died on this movie, Jan?
Yeah.
Well, actually,
wait, what?
Yes.
Someone died? Oh my God, I take it back. I'm so sorry.
No one died on the movie. It's okay. But Martin Grace, who was one of Roger Moore's stunt doubles, he was doing one of the train stunts where he's hanging onto the side of the train, and they kept rolling the footage, and they didn't see what was at the far end of the track because they only tested like from one point to another point. But they were still rolling once it passed that point. And then the guy got like hit by like something sticking out on the side of the tracks, and it broke his ribs, broke his hip, like tore like a chunk of the flesh off of his thigh. And he was put in hospital.
Oh, I think you've told me about this. Isn't this the guy that like got his leg like put on backwards?
No. That's
the
You Only
foot.
Live Twice. You Only Live Twice is the guy who gets his foot on backwards.
This seems like a recurring thing.
No, this is a guy. He just got a chunk of his leg taken out, but he's fine. He was able to do stunts later on. He was okay.
A little leg. Don't worry.
Just a little leg. Who needs both of them?
No. He was I think he mostly made a recovery from that, so that was good. But
he removed the leg.
No. They didn't remove the leg. He just had a chunk of it taken off. It's fine.
Okay, so does he have a huge chunk of plastic where that
I don't
chunk
know.
is, or does he just have a big hole?
I would love to see Jake as a doctor. Like, it's fine. You're fine. Stop
fine.
Go make another James Bond movie, you
live.
Octopussy.
You lost some chunks.
He's like, can I do stunts again? Yeah, sure. Why not?
We put them on backwards, whatever.
My diagnosis is you have chunks missing.
Yes. After weeks of studying you, I can determine you're missing a leg. That's the
that's the issue.
Problem.
Are you in the James Bond movie? Do you have any gadgets for this?
Do you have any alcohol?
But I was gonna say, much like the Cracker Jack hunting scene, this train scene ends. He finds refuge with tourists. He gets in a car with German tourists and hitchhikes, and they're eating pretzels. And that's how he actually makes it to the base.
Well, yeah, but first, wait, when does he fight the knife throwers?
Well,
no, like it's on the train. They're throwing the knives, and then Orlov gets the knife. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and then did we already get Orlov's death scene, which I also really love?
All of this kind of happens at the same time.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just go
It's all in it's a very long train scene.
Usually I would criticize that, but like I feel like it works in this because it really feels like shit's going down. Like all these things are happening at the same time.
Yeah, no, what I love about, I guess we'll talk about Orlov's death scene first. So Gogol finds him like trying to get on a train, and Gogol's like, stop! And he's like, no! And Gogol shoots him. And he's like, what have you done? And he's like, I will be remembered tomorrow as the greatest hero in the history of the Soviet Union.
Common thief, a disgrace to the uniform.
Yes, but tomorrow I shall be a hero of the Soviet Union.
And it's like dramatic, and it's like...
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's almost like a Back to the Future where there's like 3 climaxes because Orlov dies and you're like, damn, what an ending. and then the bomb, and you're like, damn, what an ending. And then
they gotta get Khan.
I like that Orlov is the first domino to fall because you're like, shit, the main villain's dead. What's going to happen now?
Exactly.
Who's in charge of the bomb?
It's like there's no one that he can, they can point the finger to. And it's also like, I don't know, like in so many of these movies, the villain dies in such a like nonsense way that has nothing to do with. This is not like in The Spy Who Loved Me. I love that movie, but no setup and payoff. He just shoots him in the balls, you know, like.
He deserved it.
Yeah. Not saying he did it, but you know, I like that in this one, it does have the sort of like poetic, you know, writing. It has poetic irony of like him getting shot by his own troops for trying to serve the Soviet Union, but they think he's defecting. It's wonderful.
The man was trying to take over Europe.
Yeah.
He tried to nuke people.
Yeah, and
he's a one-man Spectre. He's a one-man wrecking crew.
He was a hero, goddammit.
Yeah, but he did it for a cause.
I think it's out of context. What a hero! This man who was gonna kill like thousands of people.
Hey, what's gotta be done's gotta be done. You know.
Look, he's gonna get the rest of Germany. It's gonna happen. But so you have him dying, and the beautiful performance. Gogol is that scene's so grounded, so realistic. Then you have Bond fighting these knife throwers. Oh, go ahead, Jake.
No, I was gonna say, and you get the shot of Gogol like looks up, and he looks at the train, and the train is going off, and then we get back into the action, which is great. Just like he has no idea what something bad is gonna happen, but he doesn't know what.
Yeah.
That only Bond knows about because he talked to Orlov. But the knife throwers who killed the clown at the beginning of the movie, they work in Octopussy Circuit. And
Mishka and Krishka.
They're chasing Bond through the woods, and they like knife him.
Only one of them, because one of them died by getting a cannon dropped on his head.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's how the other one died.
Yeah, I know. And then the other one is trying to kill him. The one who's better at throwing knives is the one trying to kill Bond. For revenge because Bond killed his brother.
Right. He says that's for my brother, and then Bond says that's for VJ.
That's for 009.
That's for 009.
Oh no, never mind.
No, because Mishka and Grishka killed 009 in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Clown Man.
Yeah, all right.
That's for VJ.
I wanted it to be for VJ.
Well, he killed VJ's killer before he even knew VJ was dead.
Yeah, but he's so racist that he confused them.
That even 009 is VJ.
Yeah.
He gets like knifed to a door and then of a cabin, and then somehow he swings in and the guy runs in, and then Bond gets a knife and like chucks it at him, and it just goes, ugh. And you're like, yeah.
Right. Yeah. He didn't have a wad of cash in his pocket to stop the giant knife.
No, he couldn't dodge it.
But that should have been the plot, is like, who can make the most money so that they don't get killed? Like, whoever's richer gets the bigger wad.
That would be a good premise. I hope no one plagiarizes that from us, because that's our idea.
Yeah, it's trademark.
Oh wait, did you guys talk about when he's fighting what's his face on the train? And then he's like swinging the sword and the sparks are going off.
Oh my God, that's so cool. I mean, the fight choreography in this movie, I'll say it. This might be some of the most believable fight choreography of Roger Moore's whole tenure. Like the way it's shot, like I buy it.
You really do believe a 75-year-old man can wield these swords?
Yeah, God,
the special effects are tremendous.
I love swords.
You can really believe that he's standing up.
Yeah, I really bought it.
The stunt doubles, it's very fluid. And like I was saying, with the train and much like the plane bit at the beginning, the effects and everything are very seamless, the way they're able to use all these different techniques. It's not like really blatant like rear projection that sticks out. I mean, they still have it. But,
I mean, wait till we get till A View to a Kill, because I don't know what the fuck happened there. Like the stunt double and Roger Moore are so poorly blended.
Well, what the fuck happened during the plane part too? The plane part is a little wacky, but we'll get to that.
The plane part we'll get to, but that's very.
But it's still such a cool scene, though.
It is. But wait, are we at the most famous scene in the movie? Bond trying to get to the Yeah, Bond is a clown.
Well, he gets a bunch of kids come over and go like, "Hey, kid in our car," and they drive off.
Oh my god, I wanted to beat the shit out of those kids. Such assholes.
And then James Bond is like, every child I've ever smacked, thrown off a boat, almost had sex with, they're all laughing at me right now.
This is all karma.
Karma.
And and it actually becomes like the man who knew too much for like this whole part.
Yeah.
This part, I would agree with that.
We're just like all these things. It needs to get to a thing before this thing happens, but there's all these other things that are happening.
He's like plowing through an American military base. He's like driving in like a crazy.
You forgot that he tries to get to a payphone to warn about the bomb, but there's a lady takes the payphone from him, so he steals her car. She calls the cops. The cops are chasing him. He tries to get onto the base, but they won't let him in. So he drives through the base. The army is after him. The cops are after him.
Yes.
And he needs to escape by dressing up as a clown.
Yes.
Pure cinema.
And this is where I think we get like probably the line that made me smile the most, when he's trying to get into the circus and the man says, "Let's see your circus pass." He's dressed as a clown at this point, and he says, "Damn it, man, I said it's urgent."
Where can I find the base commander? It's urgent.
Let's see your circus pass.
Damn it, man, I said it's urgent.
I don't have time to show you my circus pass.
Circus.
The minute Roger Moore puts on that clown makeup, he is the most upset you've ever seen Roger Moore in like a movie.
Yeah, well, half of it is the makeup, to be fair.
He is made up as a sad clown.
Yeah.
And like the movie is John Glen's cutting back to the circus, Octopussy sitting of all these generals, all these children, Magna's in like a little top hat, and like they build how many people are in the circus, how many innocents are there, how many circus acts
how many
are
characters
there.
you know? Octopussy's there.
Yeah.
Magda's there.
The part that made me smile the most was coming up, which is when Bond comes up to the general. I was like, "There's a fucking bomb in the thing," and the general's just like, "Sure there is, little fella."
General, there's a bomb in that cannon.
Sure, where else would a bomb be? Great clown bit.
I'm deadly serious.
Oh, this clown is hilarious.
That's a hilarious joke. You're a good clown.
No, but like it's funny, but at the same time, it's like you were saying, Troy. It's like a genuinely great performance. Like you feel the urgency, and you feel Bond caring for the first time. He cares.
Yeah, like it's kind of the full circle moment from Man with the Golden Gun, where he's like, "I kill before because I try to do the greater good because I actually care about something more than killing." And then you're like, in this scene, you're like, "Oh wait, James Bond hates death." It's like if you read the comic book Kingdom Come, when Superman
he hates, I guess, death of innocent people. He loves death.
like he wants to save the lives of innocent people. And that's like in Kingdom Come, when Superman goes to Batman and goes, "Deep down, when you look at us, what is there is people who don't want to see innocent people die." And you're like, "Oh my God, that's James Bond. He's a good person." What? And your mind is blown.
That's crazy. And false, but whatever.
But also false. But in this moment, he rises to the challenge.
But yes, no, he gets to cut loose. He's miming it up. I think there's also one part where he pretends like he can't speak.
Oh yeah, he has to clown his way to get to them.
He like Charlie Chaplin's his way all the way to the stage.
He gives this like goofy smile.
Yeah.
Did you guys remember the part where Gobinda and Khan, they're trying to escape? They're like, "Oh, we have to leave right now." And then they try to start the car and the car doesn't start for a second. And then they cut to Khan, he's just like, his eyes go wide, he's like, and then they start the car.
Wonderful moments.
That's so many good, funny roadblocks. It's, like those little tiny roadblocks that get in the way.
Beats, tension, the things that should be in a movie like this.
Yeah, in a movie.
Character.
The writing. Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right, now, Paul, you were going to say I have a point? For the first time in 10 years?
Look, you're wrong about this movie, Troy, but you're right about the revisions of Goldfinger. I mean, there have been after Goldfinger, we've now had a few movies where he manages to actually defuse a bomb on his own.
Yeah.
But this is one of them.
Finally. I was gonna say, like, this course corrects Goldfinger in that, like, no one comes to save him. He actually seems to know what he's doing.
He's dressed as a clown, but he is not a clown.
He's the only one who could save the day.
He's a professional.
Borderline heroic.
Yeah, this is the only James Bond movies where he has agency, he's doing stuff, and he's not just like stumbling into saving the day while, getting his dick sucked.
Well, I take that back, and it's also, I will give you this, Troy. The thing that really saves him, it's not just him knowing that there's a bomb in there, it's his relationship to Octopussy.
Yes, this movie does the ending of From Russia with Love better too, because Octopussy is trying to figure out, okay, is James Bond telling the truth? But then Magda is like whispering in her ear like a chaotic demon, like he'll expose the whole smuggling operation.
Yeah.
And then finally she comes up with a gun to like shoot him. And then she shoots the combination lock on the cannon and everyone goes, nuke!
And he has to do this whole thing dressed as a clown. How do they come up with this?
And he doesn't have 7 seconds left before it goes off. He's at 0 seconds before it goes off.
Well, yeah, because it's actually tense, and like the bomb is designed in such a way where you see the things like poke out, so you're like, damn, it's like, barely made it,
No, it's such a course correction from previous, like, I don't know, this feels like one of those movies that, like, they got all the internet complaints and they, like, fixed it, but, like, before the internet existed.
But unfortunately, they called it Octopussy, so everyone just assumed they didn't fix it.
Yeah, people were down to see a James Bond movie called Octopussy, according to the polls, but they assumed it would be like Live and Let Die, So,
how the fuck is Live and Let Die one of the better regarded ones?
Like, I have no idea.
Like,
I thought
this
maybe
one's so much better.
It's kind of like the same reason why people like Bohemian Rhapsody. They like Queen. Why do people like Live and Let Die? They like Paul McCartney.
They're racist.
And they're racist.
Yes, and racist. No, I genuinely... Guys, I mean, we have one more movie in the Moore era to discuss, but I have no idea. When I was watching this with Jake, I was telling Jake, because I watched the Bond movies very late. When I was watching Moore, I was like bracing myself, and I'm like, Jake, I think I'm starting to get it. I think some of these Roger Moore movies are really good. Wait, I think I get the point of James Bond.
You
now.
like it when Bond is sanded down to a traditional hero.
Yes, I think James Bond in the cinematic form, unless you're going to go full Craig, like what Daniel Craig did, he has to be like somewhat of a more traditional swashbuckling hero.
If your name is not Sean Connery, you might have a point.
So as you were seeing Hervé Villachet getting like trapped into a suitcase, you were like crying and going like, I get it.
I was though. I
when
remember
you saw that
Jake.
double take pigeon, you're like, by God, it makes sense.
Jake, we still have a lot of Octopussy to go over. But no, I remember we recorded the first episode of this podcast while I had Octopussy paused after the opening, and I'm like, I don't know, Jake. They had him in a silly beard, and now there's a clown going into a river. Now I get why people don't like Octopussy. And then like one day later, I'm like, Jake, everyone was wrong. Octopussy,
and you were right. Like,
because I usually lump Octopussy and For Your Eyes Only together as the ones I don't really care about. And yeah, this one is just like, oh, there was like thought and effort put into the script, into like getting you to care or getting you to go like, oh, this is gonna happen, making just entertainment.
Troy was right all along. Troy is like a prophet from biblical times that everyone persecutes, and then we realize he was right hundreds of years later.
Whenever as a kid, I would read the story of Cassandra who predicted the fall of Troy, and I'm like, why does no one listen to us?
In like 50 years, they're gonna be teaching The Spy Who Loved Me in high schools, being like, so the monomyth.
The monomyth of The Spy Who Loved Me. The art. So notice James Bond has become the clown. He has taken up the mantle of the deceased 009. He has become the dead man, and he comes as an arbiter of death to save death for others.
Oh
Much
my god,
like,
am I getting like Stockholm syndromes? Troy's kind of like making sense to me.
this is what happens when the first draft of your James Bond movie is written by an actual writer.
I mean, this is borderline the same shit from Spy Who Loved Me, but it's working on Jan for some reason now.
And I know. I was very scared about this episode because I'm like, oh man, I don't know if they'll realize that Octopussy is really good. But
Troy, when I texted you a couple nights ago after watching Octopussy again, were you convinced that I was gonna go in like beating the shit out of it, going like, this movie
I
sucks?
believe I texted you a gif of "Can I trust you?" I'm like, oh man,
the twist. It's fun.
And the I mean, it has.
Wait, the grand finale.
It has a double climax, yeah.
Yes, and the double climax, they're all good. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
There's no sag.
The whole part where the Octopussies are like infiltrating Khan's castle kind of reminded me of that scene in Shrek the Third.
Yes,
it does.
It is.
Where the princesses come in.
Yeah.
How dare you say that name, Jan?
I hate Shrek the Third, but I agree that it did rip off Octopussy. Yeah. And it plagiarized Octopussy, and that's why I hate it.
H Bomber guy, you hearing this? Go after Shrek the Third.
Add Shrek the Third to your list.
Plagiarism is wrong.
Shrek the Third is pretending that Merlin is its own creation. It already existed.
King Arthur, it's rearranging the words. It's making Lancelot a high schooler instead of a knight, but he still is in love with Guinevere and knows King Arthur. What? No one is seeing this.
What in the fuck?
What? We already had this. It was called The Sword and the Stone. It was a Disney movie.
Lindsay Ellis did this.
Here's a good way to reference this. It's a YouTube.
Wait, why did you mention Paul's alternate? That's Paul's right here
because he's so good at sourcing. He's so good at sourcing his credits.
Full disclosure, listeners. We can say all these YouTubers' names because Paul is the producer for every single one.
Paul is the CEO of Nebula.com.
Yeah, I'm all of your managers, and also.
Well, said no to you.
How embarrassing!
We've been pursuing. We have big plans. We're adding them to our portfolio.
But yeah, James Bond gets on a plane and it's awesome.
Wait, no, Q gets a kill. Q gets a kill.
Oh yeah,
because he lands a hot air balloon.
Yeah, Octopussy's cult is infiltrating the castle, and they're non-fatally taking out all the guards with elephants and ropes.
Yes.
And all sorts of shenanigans. And the set looks like it's a fucking Powell and Pressburger movie for some reason.
Yes,
it does.
And then he slides down the little like stairs, and then he does that fucking like.
Oh my god, the banister gun thing?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's great. I love that. Where he's sliding on the banister and he shoots the thing so it doesn't hit him in the dick.
The balls, yeah.
His greatest enemy. That banister that could have taken out his ball.
Anything touching his cock.
Yeah. This is one of those things that like, was it necessary to have a double climax? No. Is it cool? Fuck yes.
Oh, is it baller? Yes.
Is it baller? Yeah.
And this is okay.
Baller.
Like, so we just had this Hitchcockian thriller climax that's good enough to end the movie on. And now we're in a full-blown, like, it's set in a soundstage. Everything looks artificial. It's like a storybook come to life.
Yeah.
And, like, James Bond is literally like a knight in shining armor coming in on a hot air balloon.
It's like Wes Anderson doing James Bond.
And Q's like, what is it James Bond who says, what does this run on? Hot air? Oh, well, you have more than enough of that. And Q's like, ooh.
I trust you can handle this contraption, Q. It goes by hot air. Oh, then you can.
Oh.
It's absolutely bananas, just this shift. And I don't care. It's so great.
Q lands a hot air balloon on a guy. He gets a confirmed kill. All these women run up to Q and go, Q!
She just becomes like the main guy in Targets, just like shooting people on sight.
Magda's like necking Q.
Yeah, Magda and Q hook up. That's great. That's what I want from Magda.
Oh, cut it out. We haven't time for that. Later, perhaps.
Another cue line that I love from this movie.
007 on an island populated exclusively by women. We won't see him till dawn.
Oh yeah, that's why he's fishing when he's staking out, him and VJ. Ah, VJ. I said VJ and now I'm sad.
Why did you say that name?
Why did we say that name?
We're still mourning VJ.
But no, at one point you'd say storybook, and again, swashbuckling. At one point, James Bond sword fights a guy who has a rifle, but he has a sword, and they like have a sword fight with like a gun and a knife, and I'm like, that's crazy. I love it.
No, he like comes in through the window and he's like Errol Flynn. It's
that's stupid.
It's so weird. It is straight thriller to just swashbuckling action that looks it's absolutely insane and shouldn't work, and it does. I am elated when I see these sequences stacked together, or at least the last part of the train and this part, because I do think the other train stuff kind of makes the other train scene long.
Okay, like the stunt double, like on the plane, like is obviously noticeable, but it's like to me, it's like the parachute at the beginning of Moonraker.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? It's so cool.
Who cares? It's
and
fun.
like again, it inspired Mission Impossible.
Yeah, no,
you
the
know?
shot is like almost the same.
Yeah,
like just the strapped on camera, and it's not even they're not even obscuring the stunt double's face. It's just like, this is a 25-year-old man.
It is funny. I think there's the one maybe slightly questionable edit in any of the action scenes, really, when it's like the stunt double's pretty seamless. Obviously, he's a lot more nimble than Roger Moore would be hanging on the side of a plane. But there's one shot where he's just standing on the wing.
Yeah.
And it's a shot of his, like, you see his face clearly, and it's like, and for a second I was like, wait, there's a third guy on the plane, you know? Who is that man?
Well, there are like 4 people on train, because Kamal Khan has kidnapped Octopussy after she's like, hey, wait, were you gonna nuke me, bro? And he's like, no. Okay, yes. And then he takes Octopussy and they're in the plane, and Bond has hopped onto the plane, and yeah, they're Rogue Nationing it. And then Gurabinda, Kamal's like, can you go out on the plane? And he's like, what?
Out?
Go out and get him. Out there. Go.
Yeah.
Out?
Now. And then he's like, okay.
I was gonna say, yeah, they don't even notice Bond's there until he like breaks one of their engines, and it's like there's a gremlin on the side of the plane. There's some horrible wrinkled man pulling screws out of the plane. Yeah.
Oh, and then when Khan like
the
dips the plane, he thinks he knocks Bond off. He's like, ha ha ha, I did it. And then Bond is like right there, and then he looks, he's like, oh.
And then we have like a classic, you know, Octopussy sighting is hanging by the side of the cliff.
They're fighting on the plane. Wait, the way Gurabinda dies, he flicks an antenna into his face, cuts his face open, blood spurts everywhere, and then he falls. And it's like, oh, that's
and it's so
brutal.
funny because the stunt double of Gobinda just doesn't look anything like the actor. Like, he's a lot more stout and thicker. And he's fighting this other guy that's like a third of Roger Moore's age. And then it's like cutting between like that. It's like different shaped man fighting young man, then old man fighting the actual Gobinda.
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's James Bond generations.
All right, so now we get to the John Glen trademark of Cliff.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty classic, pretty well done.
How does Bond and Octopussy get out of the plane again? I admit I forget.
Who cares?
But Kamal Khan doesn't, so we get a shot of him going, ah! As the plane like goes off the cliff.
Don't they just jump?
Oh yeah, because it gets stuck on the cliff, and then Bond and Octopussy jump off. Or maybe they have parachutes, maybe.
It's not like we're gonna get so many angry comments.
Yeah, everyone's like, you love Octopussy, but then you can't remember.
Okay, so Khan is trying to land the plane on the ground, and then they jump off once it's low enough to the ground, but it's near a cliff. And so the plane goes off the cliff, crashes into the mountainside, and Bond and Octopussy tumble towards the edge, and Octopussy's about to fall off, and Bond grabs her in the nick of time.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's great. That's great.
All right. Keep chewing, Troy.
I'm eating a hot dog.
That is fucking good.
That movie's so
this
fucking
hot dog
good.
is great.
He's like, Octopussy, what? I didn't see it all.
I love hot dogs.
But yeah, so that's, well, now that we have the last scene, Gogol is giving a BJ to him.
Yeah.
We gets
the Russian star.
He gets the Romanov star back, and then we have our classic, where's James Bond? And then we cut to him having sex, and he's got a broken foot.
His arm is seemingly broken, his leg is broken, and he's stretched up on the bed with like his arms in the air. But then Octopussy's like tending to his wounds, and then psych, and then they fuck. And then she goes like, James! All-time high plays. We're done.
Yeah, and it's very cute.
They should have ended Roger Moore's tenure. I think Roger Moore's tenure should have ended on the image of him being incredibly damaged and cast, and then him going, no, actually, I'm fine, and making out with Maud Adams.
Yeah.
Because that would have been the definitive ending to Roger Moore.
No, it should have ended with like the camera like getting closer to his face, and then like footage of the trouble starts getting superimposed, and then we cut to black.
Is that how the Name of the Father ends?
Is this how Belfast ended?
How Hunger ended?
The cost of British imperialism.
Is this how Michael Collins ended?
This is how
and
Michael
just a
Collins
single tear comes out of Roger Moore's eye. What have I done?
And then Pierce Brosnan steps into view with like a gun aimed at Roger Moore. Like, what?
This is for me, auntie.
Well, instead of that, our final shot of the Roger Moore thing is where Roger Moore is making out with a much younger Tanya Roberts, and Q spies on him with a robot as they're shower
spoilers!
shagging.
Spoilers.
Wait, they made another one? If I have to view another Roger Moore movie, I'll myself.
Well,
Troy, never say never. No, that doesn't make sense again.
No, that doesn't make sense. But no, I mean, I don't know.
Don't say never for one more week, because
we'll watch A View to a Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this already feels like an ending, but we still need to do our final thoughts. Troy, I feel like it's appropriate that you start because you are the one. This is like your Citizen Kane.
This is your baby, yeah.
This is your project.
When I was in the cold, dark pandemic years of 2020, I had no hope.
Right. A few months ago.
A few months ago in 2020, I bought the hype. I'm like, Octopussy is going to be offensive. It's going to be evil. It's going to be stupid. It's not going to be good. It's going to be bad. And then I watched this movie, and every scene just transports me to a world where stakes matter, where characters are unique and actors give committed performances, where the story develops and there's fun action sequences, where people twirl off balconies and tennis stars talk about their backhands, and beautiful sunset. Half the movie's shot at sunset. And circus folks build a family. And it's a movie where death weighs. James Bond knows the weight of death. He has seen his friends die. He has given death as an out. He has used death as a tool, and he has used death as a friend. But finally, in this movie, he meets a woman who can understand death, and together, he must become the clown. He is not the cool James Bond anymore. He is humbled in the face of death, and he finally comes to peace with it. And also, there's a lot of really cool sword fights, and like castles, and like cool plane stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And this movie...
Oh my God, I'm completely agreeing with Troy. What is happening to
Oh my God. Did you get replaced with someone else? Because you would normally not be buying into any of this bullshit.
What's this reasonable person doing here?
Much like Joe Biden, I have cloned Jan to have a more agreeable
Yeah, I'm the Jan without earlobes. I'm the Telly Savalas
Jan de Blochon.
But finally...
There's Jan with weird eyes that agrees with everything Troy says.
This movie is the improved second draft of Goldfinger. It takes everything I love from Goldfinger and makes it even better, because now I've seen it a second time and I love it even more. And I'll say it, and you guys will disagree with me on this. I would gladly trade the entire Connery, Lazenby, Dalton, and Brosnan eras for Octopussy. If I had to make that choice, I would do it.
What does that mean? Like if you had a Sophie's choice?
Wait, is this a bridge too far for Jan? Jan, have you snapped out of it? Or are you gonna go like, I 100% agree?
I'll have to think about that one.
Okay.
Troy, what's your rating?
We are not going to see a James Bond movie this good again until 2006. 9 out of 10. The Mole. The Mole is very...
2006 being epic movie, right?
Yes, epic movie, which we're covering in the podcast because James Bond is explicitly in the movie.
Absolutely, Troy.
Yes.
What's happening to me?
What is going on? You're going down a path I can't follow.
Where we watch epic movie for YouTube clicks.
Troy, the Mole.
Yeah, the Mole.
Teach me about the Mole.
Mole! Bloody mole!
It's getting smaller and it's getting more restrained, and it really emoted, and he's wearing clown makeup. I think Roger Moore gives his best performance in that scene where he's stopping the nuclear bomb because the mole is covered up, because the clown makeup defeats the mole. I'm giving the Mole a 9 out of 10. It was kept in check.
Nice.
Damn. Okay. Jan, because you seem to be so enthusiastic. You're enthusiastically joining the cult of Troy, so I feel like you should go next.
I was wrong about Troy. Troy is wise and Troy is strong.
Yes!
This is the biggest 180 I've done, not only in this series, but like maybe out of any movie, because I saw this movie like once or twice when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, I don't like this one. This one's boring. But I watched it now, and I was like, I was a dumbass kid. This movie's... Troy used the word baller. This movie is baller. Every scene has momentum. It's inventive. It's creative. And yes, it's very, very nice to see James Bond for once actually being heroic and caring about shit. You know, it's awesome, doubly awesome to see him do this in a clown makeup. The villains are awesome. The setting is awesome. The sets are awesome. It's just an awesome movie. I think I might further join the cult of Troy and say that I like it better than Goldfinger.
Yes!
What?
Join the Octopussy fun movement!
Wait, 1 sec.
He's getting his gun. No, Jake!
What? Jake, no!
Sorry, I had to step far away from my mic so as to not peek.
Oh, yes. He had to run to the other side of the house.
He had to run to the other side of LA. He did that in like Alhambra.
No.
He was in New York.
Wow.
But I thought this movie was fucking fantastic. I had
Jesus
so
Christ.
much fun. It combines the tones of the silly and the serious so well. John Glen knocked it out of the park here. Huge step up from the last one. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Yes.
The Mole. I think the better the movies are, also the Mole is better with them, because you don't notice it as much. And yeah, his face is covered in shit in this one, so that's a plus. I think this is the best the Mole has ever looked, honestly. Like we said, he's getting more wrinkly, so the Mole is like blending in with his skin. Like
it's going into his folds.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the part that bothers me about his face the least now. So I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Fuck it.
Whoa!
Damn.
We got a 10. Did we ever give a 10 out of 10 wig rating?
You know what?
Yeah, I give a 10 out of 10 to the wig from Russia with Love.
Oh, okay.
That's the gold standard, baby.
Yeah.
You gave Casino Royale a 10 out of 10 too.
Yeah, that's right, because that wig is the catalyst for the entire plot.
It can only be regarded as a heirloom.
Oh yeah, well of course.
That wig was literally a MacGuffin.
Oh, Troy, don't make me get off your cult. You
joined the cults of the Troy pussy.
Who wants to go next?
All right,
I guess I'll go.
Right.
I'm gonna go start
okay,
off.
Paul's like,
oh wait, Paul, would you like to go?
Well, if I'm gonna be the slight contrarian, yeah, I'll agree. I'll second you, Jan. The Mole. It's got wrinkles and makeup to distract you, and a fairly decent movie to distract you. So It's about as good as the mole can get, really. So thumbs up to that.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. Perhaps it's just more fatigue is weighing it, because what the arguments are not entirely ridiculous, like in some of our past episodes, where it's like, yeah, like this objectively does do a lot of things similarly and better than Goldfinger and You Only Live Twice, particularly those two.
Yeah.
My viewing experience, I think, basically up through the backgammon, I was like, hell yes. And once the car gets on the tracks to the end, I'm like, hell yes. And in the middle, I was kind of like, okay, who, what, VJ? Oh no,
That was my reaction too. That's good.
Okay, well, I guess we are in sync then. We're forming a hive mind as the weeks go on. Then by the end there'll be no debate at all.
Yeah, no debate in Inspector.
No.
Oh, I'm glad you all like Octopussy, because there are a lot of scenes in Spectre that are shot-for-shot recreations of stuff in Octopussy. And
we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get
Master. I mean, Troy.
Yes.
Yes, Master.
You can never see my face when I'm recording, but I'm always scheming.
Troy, when did you get a cat? Why are you stroking? Wait, that's Paul.
Is that your
Stroking
octopus
Paul right now?
Gross.
Yeah, Paul's your cat.
Whoa.
Paul's your Octopussy.
That's my little Octopussy.
Oh, Jesus. Stop peeing. All right, Paul, continue once you're done.
Oh, yes. Once I'm done peeing on you. No. We're cutting this.
What is this, Babylon?
Yeah. No, but it's definitely one of the good ones. One of the better Moors for sure. Although, I mean, we will eventually rank the whole shebang, as we've discussed, Jake. We're flying by the seat of our pants here, but as we discussed, Moonraker tickles my fancy.
Oh my god!
but this one's pretty good.
The boring
too.
one.
Moonraker wishes it was Octopussy.
Yeah.
All right.
Jake.
No.
Wait, did you rate the mole?
Oh yeah, rating.
Yeah, rating and rate the mole,
Oh,
Paul.
well, usually you interrupt me before I ever get to give a number to the movie. So.
That's why I was saying, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're trying to be nice, like James Bond. We care this
and
episode.
you're trying to be heroic for 1 week. Yeah, this is probably. I mean, if I gave Goldfinger a 7, this is at least this is a 7. Yeah.
Wait, mole?
And the mole's like a 9. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. Yeah. Hail Troy, hail.
I win.
Well, give me a sip of that Kool-Aid, because I am going to give the mole a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Fucking, that is the greatest use of the Roger Moore mole. It's not too distracting. It's behind a mustache. It's behind a clown makeup. It does everything, and it does it well.
They knew exactly how to use it.
Yeah.
As for the movie itself, it's funny because I was reading in the Big Black Bond book that the main inspiration for this movie, because the Bond movies at this time were aping off the success of other movies, this was clearly a nod to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And watching it this time, I went in with that in mind. It is not as well made or intricately shot and edited and scripted as Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's still aping off of the classic. So, there's a lot of thought and care into setups and payoffs. The action scenes are fun. The gags are fun. This movie somehow jumbles disparate tones of Bond in clown makeup disarming a nuke, and then a full-on Errol Flynn swashbuckling MGM musical number finale. And yeah, this is one of those movies where like those two scenes, especially at the end, like really, really bring the movie together for me. Not to say that the other parts of the movie aren't good too. They're a ton of fun. I love the side characters, VJ. I love Gobinda as the side villain. Octopussy is a ton of fun. I don't quite like it as much as Goldfinger. Actually, no, I like Goldfinger. I think Goldfinger is like infinitely better because it is the thing that defined the spy-fi genre, and it's still a fun movie to watch.
Well, if you love Goldfinger so much, why don't you just marry it?
You're failing the test to get into the Troy cult.
Yeah, you're not going to have a Troy tattoo.
Oh, shit.
You're not going to get branded with
Troy. When Troy's Octopussy.
Troy-topussy.
You don't get to come to my island.
I'm not going to get an Octopussy tattoo with Troy's face on it.
This is my Troy pussy.
Troy pussy.
My little Troy pussy.
Would you like to tickle my Troy pussy?
That was my nickname my dad gave me before my lover shot him.
When I go to bed with Melissa, she's gonna be like, "What's that?"
It's my Troy pussy.
It's my little Troy pussy.
Oh, are you Troy pussy? No. That person's coming later in the movie.
Well, we know what we have to do at the end of this podcast to commemorate the podcast and our friendship.
Well, I'm happy to see Jen and Troy united on this front, even though I think you're overstating the quality of Octopussy a little bit. I do think it is.
It's like the Anglo-Soviet relation.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Yeah,
we finally found common ground.
He's Gogol, I'm M.
Yeah, no, I know. After all these episodes in, what are we, 15 episodes in? 15, 16 episodes in now? Oh, my
God.
So I'm glad you guys could find common ground. I don't quite see eye to eye with you on the level of quality of Octopussy, but it is still either the best or the second best Roger Moore movie. And I did not expect to say that at the beginning of this podcast adventure. And I am torn whether to give Octopussy a 3.5 or a 4.
Give it a 4, you coward.
Yeah, give it a 4 like I did on my first viewing. And then I bumped it up this viewing. It just keeps getting better.
Fuck it, I'll give it a 4. It's okay. I'll call it the best Roger Moore movie. I'll split hairs. I'll call it the best Roger Moore movie.
That's also not part of the Troy cult.
Yeah, that actually is not my teaching either.
That's The Spy Who Loved Me.
It is The Spy Who Loved Me, but I will say there were points during Octopussy where I'm like, do I like this more than The Spy Who Loved Me? This is so much fun. No, The Spy Who Loved Me is better because it has a cleaner through line, but oh man, Octopussy's so much fun.
But it's so much fun.
Oh my God, marry me, Octopussy.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm putting him at a tie for right now. Maybe at the end of the show, if we do our bonus episode where we rank all of the Bond movies, I will give you my answer then, but I'll just say that they're tied. Whatever.
I thought our bonus episode was we just watched Duck Dodgers in like a marathon stream that will take like half a day.
Patreon content.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Right.
As soon as the Nebula contract is signed, which I'm sure it won't fall through.
Well, yeah, Paul's president of Nebula.
Well, my lawyers are working on it.
So, did you guys enjoy this episode? Well, you can see the uncensored version in nebula.com. Only $5 a month.
We do all 8 of the pussies.
We will show you our Troy pussies.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Nebula.
Troy pussies.
For the price of Starbucks coffee, you get to see our Troy pussies.
I mean, normally I charge 10.
As we analyze how James Bond relates to Tarkovsky and the War on Terror.
And Loki, because we also like Marvel in the trade.
Is Marvel killing cinema?
Or is it saving cinema?
Oh.
Subscribe to Nebula to find out.
Is Octopussy the savior of cinema?
Yes. Correct.
I think we can all agree with that.
Well, there's a lot to like, and I can't wait to round out the Moore era.
Actually, guys, I'm kind of tired. I want Sean. What if Sean came back? Do you think he could do it at like Roger Moore's age?
Wait. Someone knocking?
Oh, that's weird.
Jesus
They're not
Christ.
part of the Troy cult.
Wait. I'm going to see who it is. I'll be right back.
We're not having any new intakes, are we?
Kevin McClory! Oh, shit!
Oh, he's back!
Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
Run! He's asking us to do Never Say Never Again! Oh, shit!
He's gagging Jake!
He's feeding him with a shillelagh!
This is the worst thing that happened since Christmas!
Oh, my God! Guys, if you want to see what's happening to Jake, you have to subscribe to Nebula.
But Jake, you said Christmas only comes once a year.
It comes twice. That was, you only listen twice. Tune in next week for Never Say Never Again.
Oh, god damn it. I'm so not excited for next week. Okay, goodbye, everyone.
And just remember, Troy was right.
The end.
Famous last words.